World where local legends are made, where college dreams take flight, and where the biggest names in sports collide. One man brings you the action, the insight, and the stories that matter. This is Sports Talk for Onslow County and beyond. You're locked in to Sports Talk with Chris Raynor, only on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Chris Raynor. The first Sports Talk evening edition we've ever had. Not that bad, but it was a bad accident on Highway 24 today. Hollywood got tied up in traffic. Actually, it was an accident or something coming in on 17, too, Mr. Woodward was telling us. Hope everybody's okay with the accidents. All prayers to anybody involved. Hope to get it cleared up good and everybody gets where they need to be. But welcome to Sports Talk. We have a great show today. One of the easiest shows I'll ever do because I'm getting ready to just stop talking. Don't roll your eyes, Tim, and let y'all just have it. We got
I don't either.
Co-host Tim Foster with us today. Thank you.
Good morning.
Coach Dave McCloud, our guest today with us, and Billy Woodward, the voice of the Stallions.
Good morning.
It's going to be an easy show today. Like I said, I'm just going to sit back and let y'all have it. We've
Hollywood may be editing this one big time this morning.
Well, I'm hoping he don't have lunch plans because we might be here a while. We've already told, 37 stories while we're waiting, to get on the air.
And probably 35 of them we don't want to repeat here.
Two of them were true, weren't they? Well, before we get rolling good, because this will be one of those shows, we do want to thank our fine sponsors here at Sports Talk, National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, Modern Exterminating, the losses of John Drew Warlick, Bayshore Animal Hospital in Swansboro, CNS Paint, Ron Choate and Victor Case, Golden Corral and Billy Sewell, Bradley's Jewelers, Rock Creek Golf and Country Club, Jones Onslow EMC, your Touchtone Energy Cooperative, Downey's Heating and Air Conditioning, Hampton Hadley Chiropractic, Jones LP Gas in Verona, Southern Touch Painting, Fountain Management and Sandra Fountain, Onslow County Motor Company, Ben Beasley and his crowd, Barnes Diamond Gallery, Lane & Associates Family Dentistry, Doctors Tommy and Kim Morgan, and Bartley Insurance Services, Bill Mercer, and, of course, Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning. Thank you to those fine sponsors for keeping us on the air, keeping us where we can broadcast and get the sports stuff from Onslow County and the world to you. We also want to thank Onslow County Motor Company and Ben Beasley for our racing report. And special thanks to Helen's Kitchen and Billy Grissett for keeping our crew fed. I always tell Billy to come in about 10 so we can have it hot when we get ready to do. So we may just eat on the air today. Is that good with you guys?
Works for me.
Have a cut-in from Hollywood. He's got something, a burning announcement here to make.
Well, I tell you what, I remained calm the whole time when I was driving in here. My GPS said 9:15. I thought, well, that's okay. And then it said 9:35. Then it said 9:52. Then it said 10:52. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, this was one heck of an accident, But it rerouted me. I made it here a little late, not 9:30. But
he said it actually went back to 9 o'clock, but it was Saturday morning.
Yeah. That's right. But really quickly, before you guys get started, very, very excited. We have a new sponsor for Sports Talk that starts next week.
Yeehaw.
And it is Express Printing. Just down the street here on Myron Cross.
No more.
And his crew here, and that's a 117 North Marine Boulevard. Stopped by there with Ashley the other day, and Brandy is there, and the crew, and they are fantastic. So it's nice folks, and they are local. They specialize in custom items, of course, and we're talking about banners, signs, business cards, marketing items, business forms. They're your local one-stop prints stop. And again, they specialize in those custom items, so they're just hometown folks. So if you get a chance, stop on by. They'll be part of high school football as well, Cardinals football, and we're just excited to have them on board.
And they do a great job. We use them at the Booster Club for our booster passes every year. They are spot on every year. Everything's perfect. They mix up the colors so people can't just keep reusing them every year. Good crowd there. We've used them many years before, and yeah, good sponsor here on Sports Talk. Our social media platforms, you can also catch us on YouTube at WSME Radio, on Facebook at Freedom 97.1 WSME, and online at WSME971.com, or the way I do it, FM radio, baby, or AM radio. If you're in town and you're going outside the county sometimes and you're starting to lose the FM signal, switch to that 1120 AM dial, and most times you can carry us almost to Raleigh. I've done it before.
Wow.
Depends on the atmospheric conditions. So like I said, I'm going to stop talking. I've done all my stuff. Everybody meet in the center.
Please remain with the truth.
Y'all meet in the center, shake hands, and let's go to war. Billy, glad to have you on the show finally. We've tried to work it out a couple weeks.
Yes.
You got a lot going on for retired men,
Oh, man.
advising, world leaders, things like that,
Right.
and doing stuff with your wife.
And I've got a honey-do and a gopher list from Martha Jean. You can rest assured of that. And I've got one in my back pocket when I head home today. So.
Well, we talked about it the other day. Have we decided for sure if this is the 50th year of Southwest football?
It is the 50th year of Southwest football. It started in 1976.
So the 25 would be
you
the 50th.
have to count that. Everyone thinks about their birthday. I was born in 51, so this year I'm going to be 74 years old.
Yeah.
But if you play football in 76, that's the first year you
Right.
played. This
So
is the
25
50th
would be
year.
the 50th year, yeah. It would not, can't be the same end number and be
No,
the same
right.
year. Okay. So 76, let's start at the very beginning. It was a dark and stormy night when Stallion Football rumbled onto the field. Who was the first coach there at Southwest?
David Bull.
Yep.
And you've had, and I listened to you the other day, you had Bob Sanders here.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he called and talked on the way in. He was one of the assistant coaches.
Yes.
Well, you talk about the cradle of coaches. There's been a bunch of assistants, especially with Coach Padgett's long run, a bunch of assistants that went on to coach other places.
Absolutely.
All the way up to the NFL level. I mean, you talk about Bob Sanders, defensive coordinator for Green Bay Packers, this close to a Brett Favre interception away from going to the Super Bowl. And, that's about as high as you can get in the coaching tree.
Absolutely.
So good
Now he's
coaching
over
family.
at Appalachian. So
Yep. App
App
State.
Yep.
He's been in here a couple of times, and, man, you could just tell he still had the itch. And one of his old buddies came calling to coach there now and wanted him to be a senior defensive advisor, and so that's what he's doing up there. And hey, man, Boone this time of year, it's not a bad gig.
Not a bad gig.
He'd rather be Stella.
Stella. Well, I think he fished for about 2 years after retirement or so, and so now he's ready to try the mountains. He's probably in a stream up there somewhere every now and then. It wouldn't surprise me.
No.
True.
So that was 1976, and I believe they were practicing on the grounds of Blue Creek Elementary
Yes,
that
sir.
year because they were doing two-a-days. My brother was on that first team until he hurt his knee, but I remember those days and those muddy days coming in the house from that. Two-a-days. Don't do those anymore, but
2 years before that, they had the first meeting for the athletic and band booster club in the cafeteria at Blue Creek Elementary School before they had expanded that little 6-foot walkway and made it an extra 6 foot on,
Right.
on the cafeteria. I don't even think they were able to even get another row of tables in there after they did that expansion, but that expansion had not happened. And the place was packed that night with people for the enthusiasm. And I still can remember when Charlie Hoyt told everyone that we were going to have a school there, and it was going to be a middle school and a high school. And a couple of years later, we moved the middle school to their new location. That happened, 22 years later,
I
23?
think so. Yep.
But at the end of that, he said, but you will not have a football field. You will have to schedule your home games with either Richlands, Dixon, Jacksonville, in order to have home games. And the place went crazy. I thought they were going to lynch him up on the stage. And I forget exactly who was the one that made the motion real quick, like that we were going to form a committee and we were going to raise the money to have a football field. And it ended up being that about 10 or 12 couples ended up putting their name on the dotted line to raise, get $60,000 for the football field. Correct?
That's exactly right.
Some of the ones that I just that I know of, you had, of course, the justices,
Oh, Willie and Benita.
the Johnsons, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson.
Yeah.
You had the Simmonses, The Leones, Mr. Leone, I think, was one of the founding signing people that I've heard of.
And Larrabee and Juanita Pavement, Frank and Annie Ruth Lang. A lot of people that we're talking about.
A couple of them close to me, Harold and Sarah Foster,
Right.
my parents.
Yes.
They were on the original. They were the original charter.
And
Okay,
Phil,
that's nice.
Phil Shepard.
Yep,
Phil
Phil was there.
Shepard and what was Green's first name? I can see it.
I know exactly who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
but Jerry Green.
Jerry Green, yes,
The two
Jerry
of-
Green.
The two of them. Phil will tell you the story. He said, I was paying $60 a month to get my part in there in time. He said, I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it or not. But you got to remember, this was between
a lot of
74
money
and
back then, yeah.
75 when they were
We were
starting.
in the Carter years too. Things were tight.
Right. And on top of that, besides doing that, they had some kind of fundraiser every Saturday morning, and selling hot dogs or doing something or whatever they could do.
I remember one of the fundraisers was, I think after all that was started, though, was I had a concert in the cafeteria at the gym. You remember who that was? Most
can't-
people listening may remember or
It
know
wasn't
who it
Chubby
is.
Checker, was
It
it?
was Chubby
Yeah.
Checker.
I
Yep.
remember
And he
doing
was
the
late.
twist out there.
He was late. And I remember he rolled up in there on his bus late, and the first person that met him at the door was my dad. And he was not real thrilled with him showing
Chubby.
up late. And I think he may have shared it with him. But then the concert took place.
So they had it in the gym, the concert, right?
No, it was
No,
in the
it was in the
cafeteria.
cafeteria at Blue
Yep.
Creek.
I remember there being a concert in the gym because remember the old rubber floor, and when you were a kid out there dancing on a rubber floor, you built up a lot of static. Remember we had the old rubber floor at the high school for years.
Oh yeah, there was lots of spaghetti. A lot of spaghetti was made in that cafeteria and served, and barbecue, and there was a whole lot. And families cleaning that field, getting it ready and prepared. I mean, there was a lot of community involvement with what took place out there.
And I was going to mention that because a lot of the the farmers in the area, ones that had tractors and stuff, were responsible for grading the field and getting it pushed off. But the kids, we were out there picking up lighter knots and stump knots and debris and stuff. We were all out there. Like you said, it was just a community effort. It's not like nowadays, like when Northside was built, everything was just done.
Oh, the Taj Mahal that I call it.
The stands, the field, all that was included in the package deal.
They were able
It didn't used be
to
that way.
fund it all. I mean, they funded everything, the equipment, the uniforms, all that. But back when they were opening schools back then, they just funded the necessities in the community and the school leadership as far as the community.
Yeah.
They raised that money to buy those uniforms and equipment, and I mean, it was
a
huge.
community that community was so happy to get that school there.
Yes.
And
yes.
and everything that it became the community just wrapped their arms around it and said this is going to happen, and it
And
happened.
it happened. Yep.
It happened.
Well, go back to that first year, 1976. A lot of people have the misconception that we played did we play some JV teams or was it all varsity?
Our second varsity game was the JV against White Oak, and
So a little bit of both then.
yes, so that's the only JV team that the varsity
Okay.
played that first year.
Now, what happened in the very first game? Did we win?
No.
Who was that against? Do you recall? I'm getting ready to pull it up here,
I
but
could have bought one, but I know that I had a note on that. I know that David did not win his first two games. He won on his third game.
yeah, I imagine playing White Oak was a tough.
It was the first
test
game
for
at
them.
did they play it at Jacksonville because the field wasn't ready, or did they start the season at
They started the
Southwest?
season at Southwest.
Because I knew that was the time frame of
Yeah.
where it would be if they couldn't get the field
Right.
ready to go.
Right, but they did. They were able to start at Southwest.
Wasn't Coach Jeff Parker on that team?
He was close if he wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember because it was up through the junior class.
Right.
What year did Jeff graduate in 82 or 81? I can't remember.
Well, he wouldn't have been there.
He wouldn't have
then,
been on the varsity at that
76.
time. Yeah.
No, he would not.
He had
been
Thurman Best and Major Hines. Darren-
How about Kenny McAllister?
Kenny McAllister
The
was
first-
there.
The
That was-
first one that got a scholarship. He was around in that area.
Demon
Now, he
Deacons.
was not. Oh yeah,
Went to
Demon
Wake
Deacons.
Forest.
Demon Deacons.
That's right.
First
Yeah.
one got a scholarship, went to ACC right to start with.
Yeah, Darren Gilmore, Greg Shepard. I mean,
And
those Trace
Gil-
Gilmore come along a little later. I remember. You remember the jerseys. Major Hines always wore a T-shirt with the number 10 painted on it, and they had the other jersey sitting in the water in a cooler, and they've been soaking in Clorox or something all week because every time he took off running, if you grabbed his jersey, it ripped off, and he kept on going. He had to come back to the sideline, get another shirt, and put it on, and back out he went. It was quite comical to watch that happen. Designed. You can't get a hold of that jersey and think you're going to pull him down.
You're not going to do that, son. That's for sure.
Coach Dempsey, a couple years ago, we were cleaning out some stuff, and we ran across some of the old jerseys. It's from when we played in the mid '80s, and you talk about a whole different jersey than what it is now. That thing was made to survive 40 years of pulling and grabbing it. That hard mesh net type stuff, not the tearaway stuff, but the hard ones that. Yeah, like the Marcus Jones jerseys that they had those years.
We had to have those to get over those shoulder pads that they had back in the 80s.
Nowadays, players are wearing, looks like they're wearing the shoulder pads like Don Johnson wore on Miami Vice.
Yes.
They got, if you look at the NFL, they got Hooters hot pants on instead of football pants. Yeah. It was a different time. So what was first couple of years, what's some of your takes from, let's say, obviously went to the Eastern Championship, I think, in 1980. One of the first.
Joe Nobles.
Yeah, Joe Nobles. But those first 3 or 4 years before that,
Well,
did you start seeing the program evolve a little as it went along?
It did, and it kept going. The first 3 years was Dave Bethel and David Bull and Bob Sanders and his crew, and then the fourth season, my good friend, and I'll probably get a little. You know how I get going here, but Teddy Staffano came to town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we were really excited. He came from Ravenscroft, the private school in Raleigh, and we were excited on what we had. And it was ironic, he ended up with a 50-50, 500 season that year, but then he had his accident, and following him came Joe Noble. And Joe came in, and all Joe did the first year was go 10-0.
And the Eastern Championship.
And then went to the Eastern Championship, and that's the one that really hurts the most, is it rained, and they were hoping to play it Saturday or Monday, and North Carolina High School Athletic Association said, absolutely not. You're going to play it Friday night, and we had to go to Richlands to play that game.
Hosting a home Eastern Championship at Richlands.
At Richlands.
And then, if you remember the play that we lost on.
Go ahead.
Yep, you got to, when they lateral the ball, it's not an incomplete pass. You got to play till the whistle blows. And we didn't read that. Of course, there's some arguments though that it was not a lateral. It was an incomplete pass, and it was not thrown backwards. But unfortunately, the officials saw it differently back then, and that's what that was 7-0, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
Probably no video back then.
That's right. There was no.
Didn't have a lot of review. Looking at that score, it was Friday, November 28th. You think if they had to do it over, they'd have just played no matter what the field conditions were like at Southwest, just played it there? I mean, was it really that much of a difference, you think, between Southwest and Richlands?
I don't know.
Well, I do know that years later, Southwest played host to Clarkton on a Friday night,
Yes.
and the pouring rain. I believe it was that night.
Yes, that was my senior year, 1985.
Yes. We played that night. I mean, it pouring rain. I think part of that was that Clarkton was so big and
Clarkton was everything.
fast and everything. But I'll tell you what Clarkton did to Southwest that year. They beat us in football. They beat us in basketball.
I remember it well.
And they beat us in baseball.
Yep. Ended our season
and every one of them,
playoffs.
and every one of them was deep into the playoffs.
And here was the difference between Clarkton and us. We had Keith Collins, won the state 100-meter dash in 2A, I guess, or 1A, whatever it was. You know who finished second, third, and fourth?
Clarkton.
Three guys from Clarkton. So that was the difference. We had Keith, who was the fastest and great athlete, one of the top 10, in my opinion, at Southwest, maybe top 5.
Another App State.
Yeah, another App State.
App State.
All-American at App State. They were Division I AA then, but a 2-time All-American under, I think it was Jerry Moore at the time. there at App State. So Keith left his marks and did a great job there. But yeah, that was the difference with Clarkton. They just had a ton of athletes. I'm glad they disbanded the high school. Now it's probably part of it's East Columbus and part of it's South Columbus. Yeah, down in that area, probably a little bit of both. But Clarkton doesn't exist anymore. Like a lot of schools, they disband when a new one comes in and kind of combine them. But yeah, you're right. That 1985, that was our senior football year. We graduated in '86, but the '85 football season.
And Keith played basketball, and Tracy Hatchell was a huge, about 5'8", shooting the lights out of it, and just a little short at the buzzer against Clarkton, and that was
good times.
It was a good time.
Well, I brought some of the old news clippings, and one of the ones of talking about great athletes in Southwest is Kendrick Burney, of course. Did you take a break? I hear it grinding. All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll get to that when we come back, as well as our racing report here on Sports Talk.
WSME, Camp Lejeune, W246CJ, Jacksonville.
Freedom 97.1.
Freedom 97.1 WSME.
This is Jacksonville High School Cardinal football on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Be sure to tune to WSME Freedom 97.1 FM and worldwide at WSME971.com tonight as the Jacksonville Cardinals travel to New Bern to take on the Bears of New Bern High School. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:30 with kickoff at 7 p.m., followed by the Golden Corral post-game report. Tonight's game is brought to you by these fine sponsors: National Dodge, Chrysler Jeep Ram, Golden Corral, Liberty Tire, Modern Exterminating, Jacksonville Heating Contractors, Bradley's Jewelers, CNS Paint, Barton Insurance Services, JOEMC, Lane Family Dentistry, and Fountain Management.
It's Jacksonville High School football, and you'll hear it only on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Hi, I'm Bob Warlick. For 3 generations, our family has been proud to serve the people of Onslow County. Whether you've been seriously injured in an automobile accident, hurt on the job, or need help with family law matters, our attorneys at the law offices of John Drew Warlick are here for you. For over 60 years, we've been your trusted hometown law firm. Please call us today at 910-455-7700.
Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning, your trusted local carrier indoor weather team, has proudly served the heating and cooling needs of our community since 1967. Now, we've expanded our expert services to include professional residential and commercial duct and dryer vent cleaning, as well as full-service residential and commercial plumbing. With hurricane season here, make sure your home or business stays powered through any storm with a Generac generator. We have units in stock and ready to install today. Cleaner air means better breathing. Let us improve your indoor air quality with our professional air duct cleaning services. And remember, Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning is available 24/7 for all your heating, cooling, and plumbing emergencies. Turn to the carrier experts, Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning, with convenient locations in Jacksonville and Hampstead. Visit us online at humphreyheating.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Humphrey Heating and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
If you're looking to purchase a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV without the high pressure, Onslow County Motor Company, 1639 Lejeune Boulevard, may be the dealership for you. At Onslow County Motor Company, they want to help you buy a car, truck, or SUV, not just sell you one. Buying a car, truck, or SUV should be enjoyable, and the folks at Onslow County Motor Company will do their best to make your car buying experience fun and relaxed. Check out their inventory online at ocmc.us or visit them at 1639 Lejeune Boulevard. All vehicles are hand-selected, and a standard warranty comes with most vehicles with extended warranties available, and Carfax is free. Stop by and visit Ben, Brandon, Travis, Terry, or Dave. They will gladly answer all your questions about a particular model. Financing? OCMC will finance most anybody. Great selection. Great people. Onslow County Motor Company, 1639 Lejeune Boulevard, Jacksonville, where customers send their friends. Call today, 910-355-7066.
Hello, this is Bill Mercer of Bartley Insurance Services. If you are on group health coverage and thinking about retiring soon or turning 65 this year, I will be glad to meet with you to discuss your options. This transition can be intimidating to anyone, so it is important to have someone to make you comfortable and answer your questions and ease your mind. That is what I promise to provide, and there is no charge for the consultation. I simply want to be your agent. If you are considering the cost of possible future facility care or in-home care and think you've waited too long, I would like to meet with you because you have options that will pleasantly surprise you. At Bartley Insurance Services, we dedicate ourselves to providing you with best-in-class advice, and we promise to treat you with the dignity and respect you deserve. We provide a wide array of insurance. We want to be your agent, so please call Bill or Drew Mercer today at 910-346-2170 to schedule this important conversation. You'll be glad you did. You have my word. Thank you.
Touchdown! There's nothing like the excitement of Friday night football here in our community. And just like your favorite team, Jones Onslow EMC is always on your side, delivering reliable energy to power your lives. From flexible payment options to energy efficiency programs, we're committed to offering you the best services tailored to your needs. Because at Jones Onslow EMC, we're not just your electric company, we're your neighbors, your friends, and your biggest fans. Stay powered up and enjoy the game. Jones Onslow EMC, powering our community, empowering you.
Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry, where we love to make you smile. Formerly Morgan Family Dentistry, our Jacksonville and Richlands offices are now proud members of the Lane & Associates family. Here, you'll find the perfect blend of the latest dental technology with the personal care and attention you deserve, all to give you an amazing dental experience. We welcome patients of all ages and accept all major insurance plans, including military. For over 40 years, Lane & Associates Family Dentistry has been serving families across North Carolina. And now we're here for you with convenient locations in Jacksonville, Richlands, and Maysville. Call us today at 877-LANE-DDS or visit us online at lanedds.com. That's Lane & Associates Family Dentistry, where beautiful smiles begin.
The post-crib assembly press conference, brought to you by Progressive.
Michael, you had some trouble putting the crib together today. What went wrong?
You know, those instructions can be tough, and, well, you saw the outcome.
Were you upset when your wife pulled you and called in the backup?
No, I mean, the baby needs a crib to sleep in, so whatever it takes.
You've got a changing table to put together next. It's got a lot of drawers. What's your comment?
You know what? We're done here.
Like it or not, sometimes you need a backup. That's why there's Progressive to protect your home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Hi, I'm Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
You're locked into Sports Talk with Chris Raynor, only on Freedom 97.1, WSME.
Hey, welcome back to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Chris Raynor. Sammy Hagar can't drive 55, but he can drive a lot less than that on Highway 24 right now because still a traffic jam out there. Hope everybody's okay getting that cleared up. We're going to jump into our racing report, sponsored by Onslow County Motor Company, Ben Beasley and the gang. The NASCAR boys were at Kansas, which is normally one of those tracks. It's one of those cookie cutters that doesn't have a lot of action. Not this week, Zerg. This past week, there was 4 or 5 cars battling at the end. Bubba Wallace was up in it. Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, they all got together a little bit and allowed Awesome Bill from Dawsonville's little boy to slide through and win the race in a Chevrolet. 4 Toyotas were battling at the front. I know Toyota Motor Company's not
Chase
happy.
won?
Chase Elliott.
And I missed it.
Yeah. Got to cut to the chase, baby. Chase come through all that pile of. They didn't wreck, but they were just all. Once you start beating and banging on each other, you lose a little speed. You scrub off a little speed. And Chase come through on the apron, won the race. Great finish, one of the best in NASCAR in a long time. So how does NASCAR follow that up? Charlotte Motor Speedway, which normally I would not say that. That's one of my favorite places. I have such fond memories of all of us going to races there and the great fall races there. Now it's called a roval. You know what that is, anyway?
I'm thinking it's a road course with a small oval.
Yes. They go about half the racetrack.
Context clues.
So you go real fast, normal racing, and then you go, you make all these little zigzags, and then you get back on the oval. What is NASCAR trying to do? Most of their fan base hates a road course anyway, and you take Charlotte Motor Speedway, the mecca of NASCAR, and make it a road course. They've changed gears on their playoff format. Heard they're going back to the old style of whatever is the best car
Get
through
your
the
points
year
racing.
actually wins. Yeah. Hopefully this is something they'll address next year, because this past year between all the different ones they had 5 or 6 road courses, and they were not very well thought of. Well, how do you attend a road course? You're just at one section. You can't see the whole thing like you can.
I heard they're taking that format that NASCAR has used for the NBA. They only play like 120 games, so they're going to factor in close games, not close games, defensive effort. So we don't know who'll be in the playoffs at the end.
Now, see, that shocks me right there. They still have the NBA?
Oh, it's my fault.
Okay. But anyway,
They're
that's
not doing. By the way, that was made up.
Yeah, that was sarcasm.
It's Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
No, not that one either.
Oh, speaking of Major League Baseball, big stuff going on. We'll talk about that later. But thank you to Ben Beasley and the gang down at Onslow County Motor Company. We're sponsoring our racing report. Go down there and get you a hot rod from them, or a truck, or whatever you want. They got whatever you need down there. And a lot of times they're boiling peanuts on the porch too. So if you buy a car from them, I guarantee you they'll give you a bag of peanuts. Good peanuts. So thank you to them. We're going to jump back into 50 years of Southwest Onslow Stallion football. Before we left, we were talking about Keith Collins being one of the best athletes, and certainly was, in my opinion, probably top 5 there. The only athlete from Onslow County that I know of, if somebody call me and correct me if I'm wrong, that ever won the North Carolina Athlete of the Year was Kendrick Burney. Coach has a story to tell about that, and you do too. I'm sure there's a bunch of Kendrick Burney stories.
There's a bunch.
The things he did, but in 2005, his senior year, of course, he had started on the football field, coming off of 2 state championships. Great basketball player.
Started for me his freshman year.
Basketball player, and awesome baseball player. A lot of people don't realize this, but his original scholarship to Carolina was for baseball.
That's right.
And I think Butch Davis came in and kind of got the football program hopping, and Butch basically said, look, man, we need you doing this in the spring in football. And I think that's kind of, that's what I've understood, and that's kind of how you lean more towards football there.
And there's more money in football scholarship than baseball scholarship.
Absolutely.
They don't realize that a lot of the baseball players get partial scholarships. Your middle infield, your catcher, and your pitcher are going to get the big money.
Yeah.
And then I think football ended up, I'm not sure. I know football loves to pay the big part of things.
And as of this year, the NCAA again has cut back on scholarships, and the spring sports are really suffering big time. Our youngest grandson had a verbal commitment with what's on the top of this there at Xavier, and when all those got cut back and gone, he is now coming to Pitt Community College for the first 2 years because his scholarship that he had at Xavier is gone because of the NCAA.
Now, which sport is that?
Baseball.
Baseball.
But they did not touch and could not touch any of the Title 13 with the ladies, and I was glad that was brought out. That they did not wipe that out.
Did they increase the number of football players
because of where they knocked them out of the sports.
Football's like 100 plus now or something.
Yeah.
And the transfer portal is hopping, so if he gets up at Pitt and does his thing, they have that. That's the one good thing about the transfer portal is you have players like he called in last week, Caleb Carter. Left Southwest, started there, went to Western for actually 4 years already because of the COVID extra year. Made his mark there, did his time, and due to the transfer portal, was able to go as a graduate student, and now starting for Michigan State.
Yeah,
So there are good things about the transfer portal, but there's a lot of hokey stuff.
There's
too.
a lot there. Yeah.
Well, who wants to start with their first Kendrick Burney story?
The man over here that hasn't said much. He's got a great one.
Your first day on the job, Coach. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was Coach Padgett asked me to coach quarterbacks, and Kendrick worked out with the quarterbacks. You know, we were grooming him, but he didn't start as a quarterback. He started as a receiver. You know, the only thing with Kendrick, he made me a good coach. And, you know, just starting out my first year at Southwest, you know, I just wanted to win. And the more I saw of Kendrick, you know, each game, you know, there was no motivational talk. I just told Kendrick, I said, look, just go be you. Pat him on the back and watch him do his thing. But I've up to that point, I've never seen an athlete do the things that he did on a football field. We might throw the ball to him twice in a game, and that was 2 touchdowns. And so, you know, I will tell this when we're playing Richlands, and it's Kendrick's freshman year. And they've got the ball on about a 20-yard line, and it's 4th down, and the game's on the line. If they score, they win. And we call a timeout. And Coach Barnes, who was the defensive coordinator, he pulled him up. He said he told Brooks, can't say his name, Andrew. You know what? Yeah.
Carshawn.
Carshawn's
playing there.
Carshawn was defensive back. He told Carshawn, he said, I want you to cover, was it Thompson?
The
Yes.
big receiver they had.
Yes.
And Carshawn said, no, coach. He said, let the rookie have him. He said he can cover. And that's who they threw the ball to in the back of the end zone.
Or tried to throw it to.
And I'm telling you, the pass was it was right on the money. I mean, you could see it going into his hand.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, Kendrick comes and slaps the ball out. And it's ball game. We win.
And their receiver high pointed it perfect. It was going to be there, and Kendrick just went higher. For somebody that was 5 foot, maybe 8 or 9 at the time, he just had another gear when it got to elevating. And that game is one of my all-time favorites in Stallion history for 2 things. Number one, I'm talking about the kickoff return. Brian North being on as he was on the blitz had us dead to rights. Carshawn, the kickoff return for touchdown, stepped on the sideline. They saw it on the blitz, but officials, they're trying to catch Carshawn Brooks. They're running with everything they got. It was missed, and it was just a little bit. So that was right in the middle of the streak, as it was going on, the long 30-something game streak. So the Richlands people were up in arms about that, but then that play that, of course, Kendrick made to end the game. Yeah, so it was just a great game. I remember once again Brian North has the best footage because at the end of the game after Kendrick tips it away, clock goes to 0. The guy holding the down markers for Richlands just took that down marker and on camera, on the blitz and slammed it to the ground, buddy.
There's one more.
All right.
And that was the state championship.
Holly was listening. He said, move just a little closer on that mic. That mic's a little weaker.
That was the state championship against Burlington Cummings.
Yeah.
They've got the football and they're moving down the field. And who's the young man that went to Carolina?
Brandon Tate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brandon Tate. They're throwing a pass to Brandon. And if he catches this pass, there's nothing but green grass, and they win the game. And again, out of nowhere, he looked like Superman flying through the air. Kendrick dove and slapped the ball away. And he just, Kendrick's thing that made him great was instinct, and you can't coach instinct.
Yeah.
And he was at the right place at the right time.
Now that play you're talking about against Burlington Cummings, there was brothers, Brandon and Barry Tate, both great athletes. Team had not lost in years. Bo Williamson, the quarterback, undefeated. Southwest rolls in. Kendrick, of course, was a receiver in that game, switched over to quarterback the next year. But his first meeting with his future teammate, Brandon Tate, was a little different. You probably know what I'm talking about. Met him on the sidelines, just inbounds. It was not, a bad play, but just rocked his world. Brandon's out for the rest of the game. And I'm sure when they got together at Carolina, Brandon came up to me and said, "Look, man, why did you put me out in a state championship game like that?" But that was their first meeting, and then they go on to play together. And of course, Brandon went on to play in the NFL with the Bengals, and on up the ladder.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what you got for Kendrick there?
My first meeting on Kendrick, my daughters wanted to go watch some of the boys play ball over at the rec fields. Mm-hmm. And we're over there, and Kendrick's team is playing, and I'm watching the game. Of course, the girls had already left there. They really did not want to watch the ball game. They were there to see the girls, the boys. But anyhow, I'm watching the game. There is a runner on third base that is the winning run in the bottom half of that inning. Kendrick is in center field, and the guy hits the ball. And I thought he had a 2-run home run. Kendrick went back to the fence and got the ball and literally took one step forward and threw a perfect strike to the catcher. And the runner tagged, and the ball was there, and the catcher, like we were talking on others a little while ago, catcher was waiting for him to literally come sliding to the thing.
Like,
and I said, yes. And I said to myself, that kid is going to be a super athlete.
Yeah.
And when you, Coach said, talking about his instincts, in the Shelby game, there was a play late in the game where Shelby was kind of creeping back in just a little bit before the 190-yard touchdown by TQ, but they were creeping back in. They throw a pass to a guy, and Kendrick comes up on him and just levels him right as the ball gets there.
Yeah.
Game was done. He no longer had the enthusiasm to catch that ball after that.
No, sir.
Just had those instincts to be at the right place at the right time.
But second place was a good place to be.
Yeah.
Kendrick had the genes, though. I mean, Tyrone in his day and his mother could play sports also. Let me tell you, those two, there's no other reason why all of their kids could be such great athletes.
Tyrone and Monica were both very good athletes. Nice. Tyrone, especially 3-sport star at Southwest, played with me his senior year, graduated together, grew up together. It was just a different world back then. We didn't have these things. We were just all there together. We were playing football. We were drinking water from a hose, pouring off the top of the fence, and that's what you got. You didn't have no fancy water buffalo or squirt bottles. You got it, and that's what you wanted because it was there.
Yep.
Practicing on that old hard softball field back then, it was just as hard as a brick. But that's, what does they say? You're forged by iron,
Yeah.
It's a different time.
They were clearing out what I call now the South 40, and we were trying to get that thing cleared out. And they said to us, can y'all have a group to come out and clean up Saturday morning for us so that we can get some stuff going Monday when they come back in there. And Phil Shepard was vice president. I was president at the time of the Athletic Booster Club. And I said, Phil, can you coordinate that for me? I said, no, I'm not going to leave you held in. I said, I'll get out there and clean up some. But I got a football game at Chapel Hill, and I'm going to leave. And at 5 o'clock in the morning, I went out there and had the headlights on. And I cleaned up. I had 2 other guys with me that came and helped me. And we cleaned up about the first one, what was supposed to be to go in the end zone to the 20-yard line. We cleaned that 30-yard sets all the way across the deal there. But Kendrick would have, I've talked to him so many times on different things, but he also was one of those that when Kendrick thought he was right and everything, you could not tell Kendrick that he was wrong. And I love him to death, but you can't tell Kendrick he was wrong. That's for sure.
Well, somewhere on video, there's video of him, that play at South Lenore, the kid coming across the middle, same thing. Oh, that was just one of the hardest I've ever seen. I've never seen a helmet explode like that. And it wasn't a dirty hit. He hit him with his shoulder pads. It's just, it was what it was. The guy was in the wrong place at the right time, and Kendrick was in the right place at the right time.
The only other Kendrick story that I want to tell real quick, was against NC State, and he intercepted the ball, and he was going, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I looked up. and on the camera called him, and Kendrick's feet come straight up in the air as all was there, and the big tackle from state had grabbed a hold of him, and that back then
it wasn't a horse collar.
It wasn't a horse collar, son, and he grabbed him, and those feet came straight up and down. Next week when he came back by the to the football game there, I said, Kendrick, tell me what you thought when you saw your feet come up in front of you. He said, I said, what in the happened to me? He said, I never thought. He said, I just knew I was going to get into the end zone. He said, and he just grabbed me and I was up. He said, man, that man can run.
Well, now he had a knack for that hit across the middle and getting his pads. Of course, he was a little shorter than some of them anyway.
Yes.
Or not quite. I'm sorry, he wasn't as tall as some of them. But he had a knack for getting up under those pads. Rutgers, a kid from Rutgers playing when he was at Carolina, same thing. That made highlight reel for years. It was still on their video board they do, for the all-time hits there. Just a hitter and like you said, a ball hawk. A game against Miami, 3 interceptions in one game, 2 of them for touchdowns. Just one of those you want to have on the team. And his instincts when he was at Southwest, you remember the East Duplin game. That Kendrick Burney, let's go this way, and then once everybody gets suckered over here, I'm going the other way.
If you remember, East Duplin had just scored, and there was very little time on there, and I looked down that way, and Kendrick is down there clapping his hands together and going like this, and he's talking to all the guys and going on. And after the game, when that play ended, I said, tell me what you were doing down there when everybody else was kind of down and you're clapping your hands. He said, I told them, hey, they gave us too much time left on the clock. We're getting ready to score. You do your job, and we're going to score.
Marched down the field, took care of business.
And that long run at the end to score. And the only thing that might have hurt him at the end, back then, if you threw the number 1 up, I think you could do cartwheels in the end zone. They wouldn't throw a flag, but threw that number 1 up going in, and luckily nobody threw a flag on it. And I don't think they could have took the touchdown away. I think it just would have been probably a penalty, afterwards. But great win over East Duplin that year. That propelled them on into the the state championship game against Shelby later on.
Talk to them about that, Coach. Talk from that point.
What's that now?
Okay, after East Duplin, it propelled us to go ahead on into the state championship. We played some tough teams going that way.
Was that
That was 2004. Okay. That's the year that the East Central had the Final Four.
Oh yeah.
In the playoffs in the East that year.
Yes, sir.
That's how tough. And actually, you could say the top North Side, Southwest, and East Duplin. But you could say the top 5 because Richlands was right there and got beat by one of the other schools. So technically, the top 5 were East Central.
I remember that, Saturday mornings after the game, I would be copying VHS tapes for everybody. But I was watching the game, on TV. Kendrick would come in and he'd say, Coach, the first time he came in, he said, Coach, he said, I've been listening to you as you coach the linebackers on what to read and how to read the linemen on, run and pass. He said, teach that to me, so we started watching film. And that later helped him even when he was playing with the Panthers. But they got a hold of we didn't want them to watch the Shelby film.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow they got a hold of it. And it was the thing that they said scared us the most was their confidence. And they said, Coach, we got this. We got this. Just don't worry about it. We got this. We're going to win. And I'm telling you, in pregame, when you looking at Shelby, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Several of those guys, go and play college football. And those kids just, it was incredible to watch them do the things that they did. And you can name all of them. You have TQ and Kendrick and Dakota and TA. But all those guys, they never thought that we were out of the ball game. And, those 2 years we were, let's see, what was it?
31-1. Yeah. 16-0. 2003 against and won the game against.
I still think that field goal was good against Jacksonville.
All I remember is the next year going back and seeing that same mark sitting up there on that left upright where it hit. It was one of the Sundays in, or was it? Yeah. So we had a month of Sundays out there.
Automatic.
Yeah. What's some other memories you guys got? Some of the years. I mean, there's tons of them. We could go on for weeks. But what's some stuff that stands out? Let's talk about the first state championship. Billy, you got anything on that one?
The first state championship?
Well, actually, let's go to the year before. The team that paved the road. 1999, undefeated. Charlie Dempsey.
Adam
Locklear. Brady Pollock. Yep. And a lot of times they say you got to get there first to win it. And that team paved the road, but unfortunately ran into a buzzsaw in High Point Central. One of the best teams I've seen in high school overall. That year, I think they were ranked second in the state, all classes, behind only Charlotte Independence.
Yeah.
And they were on their 7-year state championship run. Okay. Got a caller calling in. Who we got on the line there, caller?
Hello?
Hello? Welcome aboard.
I just want to say hello to Billy.
Hello, Chris.
And just let the listeners know that in Onslow County, one of the greatest play-by-play, knowledgeable announcers in high school sports is in the studio right now.
Well, thank you, Chris. Oh, you mean Billy. Okay.
I had the opportunity in my lifetime to spend quite a few years when we launched Southwest Stallion Football on Tim Foster's daddy's radio station.
Absolutely. I was getting it out in time, brother.
WLAF.
Yes.
And the station no longer exists, but Billy Woodward Jr. and his great play-by-play does exist. And Onslow County owes this man a debt of gratitude, as does the Southwest Stallion Football.
Man.
Billy,
thank you, buddy.
thanks for all the years.
Yeah. See you in just a little while.
Well, thank you, Chris. We appreciate it, man.
Hey, Chris, I know you're getting off the phone, but we talked about it a few weeks ago. I don't know if Billy remembers it. Went to East Carteret in the school van, and y'all gave me, or not the school van, but the van that Daddy was using for everybody to go call that game, and I was given the key. I spent the entire second half trying to find it because I lost it somewhere because I knew I didn't want to go tell my daddy that I didn't have the key anymore. But somehow I come across that key and we made it back to Jacksonville.
Were you close to calling a locksmith to make one?
So the last thing I wanted to do was tell Harold Foster I lost the key.
Those were the good days, my friend.
We have been
Yes,
up
sir.
and down the road many a Friday night, haven't we, Chris?
Yes, we have, and every moment was an enjoyable one. And Billy, thank you for all the years.
Thank you, buddy.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Chris, you all take care.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Take care, buddy.
Tell you what, those were a lot of my memories growing up.
Oh, yeah.
I was tailing along, and what people don't realize, Billy does. I don't know, Melvin probably does too. It's much easier to go to an away press box and sign on, begin calling a game. But back when the 80s and my dad got that started for Southwest, he had to go to every home press box and order a phone line.
A hard line.
It's a hard
Yeah.
line to be dropped into that press box to be able to call that game live.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
That is true. I forgot about that little
yeah.
codicil there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It weren't like the days where you just flip the phone open. Well, some and then
Plug a few wires
smartphones,
in.
yeah, especially now. But we need to take our second break. When we come back, we can do more on Southwest High School football with the Stallion crowd.
Freedom 97.1. Pro Image Promotional Solutions in Jacksonville. A one-stop for your custom tees, sweats, hooded sweats, caps, and outerwear. Pro Image will design uniquely for you. Pro Image will do screen prints, digitize, and embroider right on site at their location in Jacksonville at 51 Plaza Drive B, just behind the Pizza Hut on Gum Branch Road. Pro Image Promotional Solutions, specializing in helping schools, businesses, church groups, civic organizations, and recreation nation's sports teams with uniforms and their team gear. See Mark Houston for ideas on how to make your personal business wear look professional and appealing. For more information, visit ProImageNC.com. That's ProImageNC.com or call 910-347-0004. Again, that's 910-347-0004. Pro Image Promotional Solutions, just behind the Pizza Hut on Gum Branch Road, Jacksonville.
When it comes to paint and painting supplies, whether a contractor or homeowner, since 1957, people have depended on C&S Paint for all their paint, painting supplies, and accessories, as well as providing expert knowledge in helping with a particular paint project. C&S Paint, with locations in Jacksonville, 6 Doris Avenue, 504 Cedar Point Boulevard, Cedar Point, and 105 Wayne Drive in Morehead City, C&S Paint is close and convenient to cover the Crystal Coast with quality Pittsburgh paint for any project, residential or commercial. Color is often the first impression of a home or community. Pittsburgh Paint's team of designers, experienced in both new home construction and residential repaint, have compiled over 2,000 color schemes to provide you with a selection that appeals to homeowners. A beautiful and lasting paint job starts with quality Pittsburgh paint. For more information, phone 910-455-0210 or visit C&S Paint, 6 Doris Avenue, Jacksonville, 504 Cedar Point Boulevard, Cedar Point, and 105 Wayne Drive in Morehead City, or online, cspaintcenter.com. C&S Paint, Jacksonville's premier paint store since 1957.
Down East, heating and air conditioning, a family tradition of quality since 1986.
Hey, did you hear? Daikin, the #1 air conditioner manufacturer in the world, has teamed up with Down East Heating and Air Conditioning.
Down East, heating and air conditioning, a family tradition of quality since 1986. DownEastHeating.com.
Down East and Daikin? Now that's a cool combination. Let Down East put its award-winning team to work for you. One-day install on heating and air system changeouts and no cooking on install day. Dinner is on us.
Down East, heating and air conditioning, a family tradition of quality since 1986. DownEastHeating.com.
Are you in a rental home? If so, just call Fountain Management at 910-455-1609. Are you in need of a new property manager for your rentals? If so, call Fountain Management at 910-455-1609 or just stop by our office located at 255 Williamsburg Parkway and ask for Lisa Thornton or Sandra Fountain. They will be more than happy to assist you. Lisa or Sandra can share all available properties that would meet your needs or a property management package that would meet your needs. Give us a call today. Fountain Management, 910-455-1609.
Hampton Hadley of Hadley Family Chiropractic is a Palmer graduate and certified in chiropractic pediatrics. If you have been in a car accident or are having trouble with chronic pain, sports injuries, or need proper physical therapy to get you back on your feet, Hadley Family Chiropractic of Jacksonville offers comprehensive care for you. Hadley Family Chiropractic provides services for back pain, headaches, leg pain, neck pain, numbness, shoulder pain, work, and sports injuries. Hadley Family Chiropractic offers state-of-the-art chiropractic care and treatments as well as transportation. We offer very little wait time and same-day appointments, open Monday through Fridays. Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays by appointment. Hadley Family Chiropractic, 1905 Gum Branch Road, Jacksonville. Call today 910-938-2332 or 910-545-8615. Open Monday through Fridays. Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays by appointment. Hadley Family Chiropractic, 1905 Gum Branch Road, Jacksonville.
Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Hey, welcome back to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Chris Raynor, co-host Tim Foster with us
morning.
today. Coach Dave McCloud, honored guest, and Billy Woodward, the voice of the Stallions.
Good morning.
Honored guest today, talking about 50 years of Stallion football. We're up to the 99 season now. Let's kind of give a little background here. We talked about in 1980, Coach Joe Nobles took the Stallions to the Eastern Finals, lost to Currituck.
East Coast Rockers.
Yeah. What was the other thing they used to call it? It'll pop in my mind in a minute. The Beast of the East, too, yeah. But in 87, Coach Padgett took over. First year, went to the Eastern Finals against Currituck. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
That one wasn't quite as close as the other one. You know, but the thing is, a lot of people don't realize how special it is to get to an Eastern Finals.
That's right.
Because it didn't happen again for another 12 years. Had some great teams, including a team ranked #1 in the state with Marcus Jones, the defensive lineman that everybody wanted.
1981.
91.
Yeah,
91.
91, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Did you ever hear Phil tell the story? He and Ed were coaching. They went to Whiteville to play that game, and he said it was like 7-0 or 7-6.
Yeah.
We were winning at halftime.
Yep.
So they walked into the locker room at halftime and looked in there, and he said it looked like a war zone. All the players were laid out,
We were
stretched out, and they looked at each other. Ed, Phil looked at each other and said, "We got to go play a second half. It's going to get ugly because we ain't got nothing left."
That was our junior year in '84. That was Ed Walsh's first year coaching. I'm lost at Whiteville, and that was the team that had oh my gosh, Tim Hooks, Chester McLaughlin as a freshman,
And Charlie Williams
had a great team.
on a punt, and the guy called the fair catch, and Charlie Williams didn't pay any attention to the fair catch call and run that fella over, and the flags were flying everywhere.
Yeah.
But that set the tone for the first half for us to have that lead at halftime.
Yep.
So Coach Padgett, gets them to the Eastern Finals '87. Takes a while to get back, but he did it right in '99. Let's talk about that year, the team that kind of paved the road a little bit.
Charlie Dempsey and all that crowd, Adam, and all we talked about. But it was a ride for me. I just thoroughly was.
It was
enjoying
awesome.
it.
Wasn't it cool to go on that field after the game and enjoy the moment, knowing that you're headed to the state championship next week at Chapelville?
Absolutely.
And of course, running that bus off High Point Central, Chucky Burnett, that crowd, man, they were just
loaded.
They were loaded, and they got their court dates, postponed for a couple of weeks so they could play football. I know the story. I've worked in the criminal justice system. It's true, but that's the way it works. If you're not convicted, you're okay.
You're okay.
But anyway, moving on, that Eastern Final game against Western Alamance at our place, they had a great team too, and by far one of the best bands we've ever seen. Remember? Oh, they come up in that semi-trailer, great band. So that's a harbinger for the next year, because who do we face in the Eastern Finals next year?
Western Alamance.
At Western
Western
Alamance.
Alamance.
And it was
Colder
cold.
than Blue Blazers.
It was cold.
Melvin Bland and I were the only two Southwest Stallion fans that was warm. We were in a completely enclosed press box. And
there was one other. Cameron Foster went with me, little wolf fella he was. No, he was on the charter bus with the bus driver.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was going to say, Tim, I don't remember anybody behind us, but
so quarterback for that team was Kendrick Brooks.
Yes.
Stallions get behind. I'm not sure the number. Maybe it was more than 2 touchdowns, and engineered that comeback. Started throwing the ball a little, and things just started falling into place. Next thing you know, it's a tie game. It goes to overtime. Western Alamance scores first, the way the high school format is, and missed the extra point. And madness ensues after that. Tell us about the best of what you remember afterwards. I don't remember who scored, but I know basically we score.
We score, and this one probably can tell you every inch of it over here to my right, and I'm going to pronounce it him because
I wasn't there yet. That was the year before.
The year before, okay. But the thing that I remember most about that one there was not so much what happened at that particular time and deal. It was afterwards when we finally got down to enjoy the celebration that we were going back to the southern part of heaven again.
Yes.
And I said, what happened in at halftime that got us to where we were at the end there? And they said we were going out of the locker room, coming out. And he said, so Uli said to Coach Padgett,
Fred.
Yeah, you give me the ball.
Yeah, he was the feature running back then.
Or else when this game is over with, you and I are going to have words. But there was more that we can't
Brady
say here
Pollock
on
was
this.
on that team, too.
Brady
Yeah.
was on that
Brady's a
team
senior.
and all. But whatever happened in there, the one that I asked, I said, Mark Price, what happened after that? Because Mark said he was one of the ones that was there. And he said, Phil turned around and looked, and he said, Ben, did you hear what he just said? And he said, yes. He said, let's see if he can do it.
I was
wants the
nervous
rock.
that game because Marvin Phillips was playing football.
Yes.
Junior.
Tyrone just texted me and said Marvin was one of the ones that
Caught the ball,
Yeah, caught the ball,
stretched
yeah.
out in the end zone.
Yep.
I'm
Yes.
standing at the back of the end zone with the legend from Wallace,
Oh, yeah.
Coach Jack Holly.
Jack
Holly.
Holly.
And I had a moment with him. I thought he was going to hurt me because we talked. And he found out I was the announcer at Southwest, and he gave me that look of, you? I was like, no, it wasn't me. But I've watched Marvin catch that ball. He's stretched out several times throughout the game. That's my starter. That's my guy on my basketball team. I was like, I want to win, but don't get him hurt. And he made some great that catch in the end zone was, I mean, it was great.
Yeah, that's what Tyrone was texting about that catch, yeah. Looking at that season, now I got to give credit to Coach Padgett. He weren't no dummy now. Listen to who he started the season with. South and Lower, Dixon, and Lejeune. Now, granted, it's not the Dixon today, obviously.
Oh, no.
Dixon was in that stretch where they were really struggling back then. Had White Oak, then Swansburg, Clinton, Croatan, the normal East Central suspects after that, East Duplin, East Carteret, Richlands. This is 2000, of course. Then the first game, played Northern Vance from Henderson. A highly contested game. If you ever get around anybody from Vance County, they swear they won that game somehow. I can't remember what the circumstances was, but interception, or they said we dropped something, or it wasn't a complete pass. Whatever it was, that's the bone of contention in that game. Then we move on to East Bladen. Have we ever lost to East Bladen? I don't think we have. As great a program as they have down there, it's just circumstances have worked out to where we've always beat them.
We came close.
Yeah. The safety.
Yes.
That's our old
Yeah.
buddy Carshawn, wasn't it? Had enough heads up to tackle him in the end zone and realized that he caught it on about the 5. It would have ended the game. East Bladen player
over.
catch interception.
Yep.
I was
And-
talking about the tip of the pass. We're playing at home, and it was the tip of the pass right at it wasn't the end of the game, but it would have made a difference
In the way
the
that-
ball game.
Yeah.
I can't. What's his name?
It's not Murchison, was it? The player for East Bladen? There was another instance where East Bladen finally got their touchback. You remember what I'm talking about? I think it was 2012. Kids going in the end zone. One of our players punches the ball out, and it rolls out. It might have been Shaq Percy punched it, and it rolls out through the end zone. So that's the touchback. They would have scored and won there.
Yeah, it
so they
wasn't
had
Shaq, but that
2.
was the play I was talking about.
Was it?
I thought it was a tip pass. But anyway, that was right. He was going in the end. He was on a 1 yard line.
That would have won the game.
And it punched it out and it rolled out of the back of the end zone.
Walker.
So after all those years, they finally get their touchback.
Yeah.
But not the way they
Not the
wanted.
one they wanted.
So moving on, Reedsville caught them in the 3rd round that year and beat them. All these were at our place except for the Western Alamance game, which,
Right.
as you said, was the coldest ever. And to finish the story about that game, they missed the extra point. So we scored, and we knew we had one of them Sunday boys.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we knew that he was good. Snap
Zach.
spot, kick is up, and the place, is done.
It's
Game's over.
automatic.
Move on to Newton Conover, and while we're talking about the Sundays, I think it was Mark playing then. Was it Mike? Yeah, Mike. You remember the little wheel route he had? He was a receiver too. Wide open on a wheel route, walking in the end zone. He catches it, but you turn and the ball's gone. Early in the game, and a lot of us were thinking, man, we're snake bit again. But man, that team, just like you said with Brady, Seuli, just those kids, it was just a tough team. Kendrick Brooks, man, came up huge in that game.
Didn't we end up winning by a field goal?
I can't remember exactly the
think so.
circumstances.
Mike Sunday kicked the field goal. I think we won 10-7 or 17.
Oh, I got it right here. It's 14-13. It's an extra point, not a field goal. It was a missed extra point by them. Yeah, that's what it was. Late in the game, that's what it was. Late in the game, they scored and missed the extra point. So we finally caught a little luck there.
Talking
the
about the
scores in
Sundays,
front of
talking
you.
about the Sundays real quick, like I say, we're coming all through there. The little question, the trivia question, say, what have you got when you got the 3 Sunday boys and Dad together? And I don't know what. It said you got a month of Sundays.
A month of Sundays, and we had them. It's like the Maddox. They only had 2 of those.
Oh, yeah.
But arguably Zach's probably the best kicker ever in Southwest history. You know, lengthwise and moving on and kicking at App State. Of course, kicking a 54-yarder in high school, snap and spot. That's pretty impressive. You know, we didn't put it up on the tee like a. Do we need to take a break?
No.
Okay.
Yes. There was a lot of 2 minutes. There's a lot of guys that played soccer at Southwest that ended up on that football field. Mike Sunday, Nick Brahosky, those guys all played soccer, and then they
Both
would
of them had
leave soccer practice. Zach, Nick, they'd all leave soccer practice and go play football. And Nick turned up big against Wallace with the catch.
Yes.
And Brandon Korzak with the I don't know if he blocked the punt, but he's the one that recovered the punt.
No,
or the bad snap or something in that Wallace game.
Now, was Brahosky's catch? Well, that was against Richlands, wasn't it?
That was Richlands.
To win the game. Yeah.
That was Richlands.
Late in the game. But then you talk about that Wallace game back in 1999. We were done in that game.
Oh, yeah.
Down 16 points late in the game, and fourth and like 20-some. People just streaming out of the stadium in the third quarter,
they were giving things away free, is what I said. There must be something free.
Mass exodus.
In the parking lot.
And Coach Padgett dials up a reverse halfback pass to Shamir Henry for a touchdown, and it was like you flipped a switch. Covered onside kick, which was the one you talked about, Fred Sayuli. I remember like it was yesterday because Brian North, back in the day, man, when they didn't have as many games going on, they covered those games just like it was on Sports Center. You had every major highlight.
The Phil Padgett story was hilarious. I mean, it's funny, but the outcome for the Stallions that night was not what we wanted. But when we went to East Duplin, and they beat the snot out of us, and Adric Hudson got hurt, got a concussion. And I was talking to Adric on the sideline. I went over to Coach, and I said, no. So he ended up being loaded up in the ambulance.
Right.
So the next morning, Coach Padgett calls me, and he says, and it's early. He'd like to get up early. So he calls me about 7:30 in the morning. I'm not usually up at 7:30 in the morning on Saturday morning. He says, Tim, I just wanted to say thanks. Thanks for sticking around and being there till the end. He said, typically, if a player's hurt and they want to get in the ambulance and I need a coach to ride with them, nobody ever wanted to go. He said, but man, they're lined up. They're about ready to pull. They're ready to pull Adric out of the ambulance, and they're ready to crawl in there and leave him at the game. And I looked around, all my assistants were crawling in the ambulance.
Was that the game where coming off a state championship in 2000, played East Duplin, lost the final game, ranked number 6 in the state, Southwest was, and did not go to playoffs? Was that the same game?
It was not, because we got beat like 48 to
within that
nothing.
game. Okay.
I mean, we got Billy probably remembers that one. But Dave, we got.
That was in 02.
Yeah, that was funny. Phil said everybody was lined up to get the ambulance.
Well, let's jump ahead to 2003. The golden season, undefeated. A lot, people say the best in Stallion history, best in Onslow County history, possibly. Only team in Onslow County history to go 16-0. Jacksonville, of course, was undefeated, but didn't play as many playoff games in. So no endowment
That's why I
games.
say I put the asterisk beside that one right there, because we did have more games at that time.
And you had an endowment game, so technically you played 11. We talked about the number of teams that we faced that were 10-0 or better. The first one up was Richlands on October 31st, the Halloween massacre of 2003. Both teams coming in at 10-0. It was like a college atmosphere. There was 5,000 people parking down at West Park, walking down. We're gonna start that season. We don't start another season right just yet. We're gonna do it when we come back. We'll be right back with Sports Talk.
Bayshore Animal Hospital is excited to announce that they have moved to their new forever location, 623 East Sabiston Drive in Swansboro. Bayshore Animal Hospital may be Onslow County's most complete veterinary clinic, offering small animal and equine medicine at a new state-of-the-art facility. Dr. Timothy Pearson is an equine practitioner. In addition to equine medical and dental services, Bayshore Animal Hospital continues to give compassionate care for all your furry, four-legged family members. You see, at Bayshore Animal Hospital, they treat pets like family. Sea dogs, devil dogs, cool cats, and horses. Welcome. Dr. Gina Francis, Timothy Pearson, and staff are ready to provide your pet with the best possible care today. Stop by Bayshore Animal Hospital now at their new location, 623 East Sabiston Drive, Swansboro. Phone 910-939-5298. Or if you'd like, you can visit them online to find out more about Bayshore Animal Hospital at BayshoreAnimalHospitalNC.com. Mohawk All Pet Protection and Warranty is the only carpet protection and warranty for all pets, all accidents, all the time. Because your pets are family members too. No matter how you live, we've got you covered. Soft, luxurious, smart strand forever clean carpet. Gorgeous, durable, solid tech luxury vinyl tile. Mohawk has the ultimate floor for every room in your home that's suitable for all pets. For details, contact Watkins Floor Covering online at watkinsnewfloor.com. Watkins Floor Covering, thanking you for voting them the best of the best for 2024 in the flooring covering and carpet cleaning category. Watkins Floor Covering. They're more than just floors. It's custom showers, custom tubs, carpet cleaning, backsplashes, bathrooms, commercial, retail, and home flooring too. Watkins Floor Covering. Family owned and operated since 1997. With locations in Jacksonville and Surf City. Watkins Floor Covering. You stand on it, we stand behind it.
Drive a new Ram truck with 0 down now at National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Lease a new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4, just $629 a month with 0 down. All taxes and fees included with approved credit on a 42-month lease and 10,000 miles a year. Get yours during the Drive Into Fall event at National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
Visit National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, Highway 17 in Jacksonville.
It's a national thing. Go National!
National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram invites you and your family to be a part of Cedar Fest, Saturday, October 18th at the Boathouse Creek Park in Cedar Point. Plenty of food, music, crafts, and free activities for the kids, including bounce houses, a petting zoo, plus kayak and pony rides. Join us at Boathouse Creek Park, Saturday, October 18th for Cedar Fest with National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Learn more at cedarfest.org.
Go National!
The best deal for the grill is at Jones LP Gas and Oil Company each Friday. Every Friday from 8 a.m. till closing at 5, Jones LP Gas and Oil Company will fill your 20-pound LP gas grill cylinder for only $11. You heard that right. Each Friday till closing, you can have your 20-pound LP gas cylinder filled for only $11 at Jones Gas and Oil Company, 3881 Wilmington Highway in heart of Verona. In addition to saving money on your LP gas for the grill, Jones Gas and Oil is your full-service gas and oil company serving residential, commercial, and agricultural gas and oil needs, as well as gas appliances, LP replacement, parts, fill cylinders, and tankless water heaters, and they offer a 10% military discount on installation. Remember to get that cylinder filled every Friday until closing for only $11. Jones Gas and Oil Company, 3881 the Old Wilmington Highway, Verona. Phone 910-346-6384. Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, Power Washing, and Roofing specializes in residential and commercial interior and exterior painting. In fact, they paint most anything except cars, including homes, businesses, apartment complexes, decks, and they do minor repairs, wood repairs, pressure washing, waterproofing, and more, including storm repair and cleanup. Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, Power Washing, and Roofing, fully licensed, insured, and locally owned and operated by Roger Carroll Jr. References available, and customer satisfaction is always guaranteed. So if you want to paint painted, maintained, power washed, or need a new roof, call Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, and Power Washing at 910-939-0749 or visit southerntouchpaintingnc.com. Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, Power Washing, and Roofing salutes our troops and is proud to be part of the continued growth of Onslow and surrounding counties.
The post-crib assembly press conference, brought to you by Progressive.
Michael, you had some trouble putting the crib together today. What went wrong?
You know, those instructions can be tough, and, well, you saw the outcome.
Were you upset when your wife pulled you and called in the backup?
No, I mean, the baby needs a crib to sleep in, so whatever it takes.
You've got a changing table to put together next. It's got a lot of drawers. What's your comment?
You know what? We're done here.
Like it or not, sometimes you need a backup. That's why there's Progressive to protect your home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Hi, I'm Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic, made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Rock Creek Golf and Country Club invites you to tee it up with them. Test your putting skill on the brand new greens at Rock Creek. Monday through Thursday, play for only $32. On Fridays, play for $37. And all military and seniors pay $35. On Saturday and Sunday, play for $44. And seniors and military pay $42. And now, Ladies' Day is every Wednesday, and the cost is only $28. All prices include cart and green fee. And all eagles, birdies, pars, bogeys, double bogeys, and others are free. Pro Rick Morton invites you to call anytime. 910-324-5151. 910-324-5151 for a tee time. Memberships available.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
This is Jacksonville High School Cardinal football on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Be sure to tune to WSME Freedom 97.1 FM and worldwide at WSME971.com tonight as the Jacksonville Cardinals travel to New Bern to take on the Bears of New Bern High School. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:30 with kickoff at 7 p.m., followed by the Golden Corral post-game report. Tonight's game is brought to you by these fine sponsors: National Dodge, Chrysler Jeep Ram, Golden Corral, Liberty Tire, Modern Exterminating, Jacksonville Heating Contractors, Bradley's Jewelers, C&S Paint, Barton Insurance Services, JOEMC, Lane Family Dentistry, and Fountain Management.
It's Jacksonville High School football, and you'll hear it only on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Dad, it's time we had a talk.
Okay, son, well, what's on your mind?
Grown-ups always say time is money, right?
Right.
Then why are we driving so far to catch a flight instead of just flying from Jacksonville's OHA?
Well, I guess it...
Do the math, Dad. First, there's a cost of gas for hours of driving. Then we usually spend the night. So out in the hotel...
I'm listening.
Then there's the inevitable rock that hits our windshield.
Why does that seem to always happen?
Not to mention having to listen to 80s hair bands all the way there.
Hey, Bon Jovi is still relevant, okay? All right?
Point is, we spend a bunch of time and money just to get to the other airport, when we can just fly out of OHA.
Well, when you put it that way...
Good talk, Dad.
OHA Ellis Airport. Shorter lines with less wait time, closer parking, and Easy Park electronic payment to get out quicker. And you're supporting local jobs. Learn more at flyoha.com.
Fly OHA. It's just plain smart.
Those born in October enjoy 2 spectacular birthstones to commemorate their special day, the opal and the tourmaline. Both have endless color combinations and beautiful coloring characteristics. The opal's dramatic play of color has been compared to fireworks, galaxies, and volcanoes, and the tourmaline comes in a vast range of colors, each having their own healing properties. Very few gems match tourmaline's dazzling array of colors. Find your favorite opal and tourmaline at Bradley's Jewelers, 1122 Western Boulevard in front of Staples and Best Buy in Jacksonville.
WSME, Camp Lejeune, W246CJ, Jacksonville. Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Hey, welcome back to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Chris Raynor, co-host Tim Foster. Dave McCloud with us today. I know what you're going to say and don't say it. And Billy Woodward, our guest today. Go ahead and say it, that I've talked too much.
Coach McCloud mentioned it earlier. He said, at what point is Chris going to stop talking?
I said at the very beginning
Billy
when he said
right
it, that's not the truth.
Well,
I knew that wasn't happening.
There's two things in this world that I'm passionate about, and both of them Stallion football. So yeah. So you get taught. No, not even. I'm not eating. This is my stuff here. But we're gonna get them kind of started on some stuff after we do this day in sports. We're gonna roll through this one today. I won't have as much discussion. I'll just kind of be quiet.
That's what he says.
That's what she said. All right. In 1920, the American Pro Football Association, later the NEFLE, as they want to pronounce it for halftime this year, kicks off its first full slate of games. The Dayton Triangles blank the Columbus Panhandles 14-0 in the league's first official game. All right, Mr. Woodward.
1920, St. Louis Browns star George Sisler collects his 257th hit to set the MLB record that lasts into the 21st century as the Browns bash the White Sox 16-7.
Coach McCloud.
1926, England's Violet Piercy sets the first recognized women's marathon record at 3 hours and 40 minutes, 22 seconds on the Windsor to London course.
Now, if that was me running, it'd be 3 days, 40 hours, and 22 minutes.
What did you say?
If it was running. Good Triple Crown, boy.
1942, Triple Crown champ Whirlaway, not Whirlyburger, with George Wolfe aboard, wins the Jockey Club Gold Cup and becomes the first horse to earn over $500,000.
So that's righteous bucks in 1942.
You can't buy a horse for $500,000 now.
I wonder where that horse spent the money.
I don't know. 1951, CBS TV airs the first coast-to-coast prize fight broadcast as Australian Dave Sands outpoints Carl Bobo Olsen in Chicago.
1953, Mickey Mantle, and I got a Mickey Mantle story we'll tell later on, slams a grand slam as the Yankees beat Brooklyn 11-7 in Game 5 and go on to win the World Series 4-2.
That fella could play baseball, couldn't he?
Yeah, he could party too.
Coach.
1953, Sam Snead wins 6 of 7 matches, leading the U.S. to its 6th straight Ryder Cup victory.
Boy, we needed him last weekend,
Yeah,
didn't we?
you ain't kidding.
Now, 1971.
Yes.
Billie Jean King becomes the first female athlete to earn over $100,000 in a year after winning in Phoenix. Wow. Can you imagine that number today?
Well, talk to the WNBA people. They're not happy about what their salaries are, but they're getting
it wasn't that.
No, it wasn't
better than that. That's for sure.
All right,
wow.
1971, Francois Sievert wins the U.S. Grand Prix at Watkins Glen. Teammate Jackie Stewart clinches his 2nd World Drivers' Championship.
1976, Hank Aaron's Hammer and Hank singles in his final MLB at bat, driving in run number 2297.
And
still
Hank,
the all-time RBI record.
And I still consider him the all-time home run leader, too. That's the asterisk in my mind.
1997, Vancouver Canucks beat the Mighty Ducks 3-2 in Tokyo, the first NHL game played outside North America.
That's interesting.
Oh, man, 1997. I'm glad we have these little pictures here beside each of these numbers.
This
to
is
let us
hockey.
know what sport it is. The Carolina Hurricanes dropped their first home game 4-3 to Pittsburgh in Greensboro.
Yep, started in the Greensboro Coliseum, just like the Panthers started at Death Valley, or was it one of the ones in South Carolina? Yep. I'm sorry, 1999, Mark McGuire belts his 65th dinger, edging Sammy Sosa for his 2nd straight home run title.
2008, Kelly Slater clinches a record 9th World Surfing title in Spain with 2 events still to go.
Tim, you could surf like Kelly Slater, couldn't you?
Only on the wipeouts.
Only on the game, yeah. All right, last one, Coach.
In 2021, Tom Brady passes Drew Brees to become the NFL's all-time passing yardage leader in a 19-17 win over the Patriots.
And I believe that one still stands, don't it?
Yes.
It probably will for a while. But every time we've said that, he gets beat.
It does.
I think Belichick's missing Tom right now.
Before we get back in the Stallions, I'm going to tell my Mickey Mantle story.
Please do.
He used to go. The story says that he partied hard at nights all the time.
No.
Nah, and came in, and he came in one day and for the game, and they said he was plastered, and he comes up to bat late in the game. Said, fortunately, nothing had been hit to him in the outfield the whole game, but he comes up to bat late in the game, and he hits a home run. Everybody in the dugout's betting he'll never get around the bases, first of all, but he staggers around and gets and hits home plate and comes in, and the first one to get to him when he gets into the dugout, of course, is Yogi Berra. Yeah. And Yogi says, Mick, how in the world did you do that? And Mickey said to him, Yogi, it was simple. I just swung at the middle ball.
The one in the middle? That's like the old Sam Malone joke from Cheers. Said the bases were loaded and so was the batter.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump off into 2003. The perfect season, 16-0. Started out with Pender, Lejeune, Jacksonville, White Oak, and then went into the conference. The conference was the East Central, but you still had East Duplin, East Carteret. No Wallace back then. Croatan, Richlands. Like we said, 10-0 in that Halloween game against Richlands. Tell us your thoughts on and memories on that game. And you share that one, too, you talked about the players arriving.
Well, they came late. There were people lined up at the gate to buy tickets at 4 o'clock that afternoon. And it's probably one of the biggest high school games that I've ever coached. Yeah. And I hope he's listening, but Kevin Wilson was the coach, and they just knew they were going to win. And when they got off the bus, they had already stretched and were ready to play somewhere else. And they got off the bus and ran through their stands, the coaches, the players, high-fiving and everything. And it was, our guys saw that. And I think that was a mistake on his part.
Well, they ran out of the shotgun. They were one of those teams. They had Travis Hopp at quarterback, a great running back, and a great receiver. They kind of like the Cowboys back in the day, the three-headed monster. First snap of the game, though, over his head, I think it's Andre Baxter recovered it in the end zone, and it was like the air just sucked right out of the blue and yellow side over there, and then the game was on.
That team too.
As a young player, yeah, he was, he was probably a freshman or sophomore then. He wasn't fully progressed there, but it was a great team, man. One of the best in Richlands history, one of the best in Onslow County history. That was a great team, and just ran into a team that just happened to have their best season that year.
I was getting ready for that game and started getting dressed at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. And Martha said to me, "What are you doing? The game isn't to so-and-so." I said, "Martha, I'm going to be inside the gym somewhere by 4 o'clock because after that, you're not going to get in anytime soon." And I think she thought I was going off to do something else for a while before I got to the ball game.
She had your lady friend somewhere.
She had no concept of what that was going to be that night.
Well, of course, it was Halloween night. My kids were trick-or-treat age. So we do country trick-or-treating where you're driving around, So we're I'm basically calling the last couple of people, including my Uncle John Hudson, who lived there on Gould Road in the Curve. And I said, "Look, we're coming through. I got to get to this game. We got stuff to do. We'll keep it quick." He said, "You want me to just put the candy in the mailbox?"
I just got a reminder. You know what happened at halftime?
What?
That night?
I'll probably remember when you tell me.
Tyrone just reminded us they changed uniforms at halftime.
Richlands did.
Come back out.
I forgot that.
Yep.
That was just trying to do the mind games. And you remember Coach Ed Wall doing the same thing in '85, our senior year. We warmed up on the field. We took our helmet through our shoulder pads, got on the bus, dressed on the bus on the way up there, jumped off. They said they were going nuts because it was like 5 minutes to kickoff when Phil Padgett rolled that bus into the fence. and we jumped off ready to play.
Yeah.
And so Wilson tried it too, but it just didn't work as well.
Let me tell you, we were nervous in the press box there because we were there.
We
There was
weren't
no one on the other side.
Nobody knew.
But that
What
started.
game was that? Who were you playing?
Richlands in '85. We were at Richlands.
Okay.
Ed Wall was the coach and Phil the assistant, and he decided we were going to play a little head games. We're going to warm up there, and yeah, like you said, everybody was a little concerned there.
We did something similar at Dixon, I believe.
Did he? Yeah. Well, looking at the other teams, the other undefeated teams they faced, Eatonton Holmes, John Holmes High School out of Eatonton was undefeated and more than 10-0. East Bladen in the Eastern Finals. That's the game where Carshawn, we talked about it before, late in the game, East Bladen, we were down, so we tried to pass. East Bladen intercepted on about the 5-yard line. The kid broke down by about the 2 or 3 and just loped into the end zone, thought he was going to get a touchback. Carshawn was heady player, buddy. Tackled him, safety.
And
we get the ball back.
Carshawn and Coach McCloud, I think, you didn't get any east and west running out of Carshawn carrying the ball.
No.
It was
He's
north. It
and
was
south.
north and south.
Yeah.
I believe there was times that he could have kept running straight, but chose to go veer to the left so he could run into a tackle.
Yeah.
Let
me tell you what.
over because he
let me
was
tell you
as
what
tough as I ever seen.
I'll tell you what he said on the sideline when it got tough there. It was after the safety, but
Still had a ways to come back.
we were behind. He went to Coach Padgett and said, "Coach, give me the ball."
Give me the ball.
And Phil said, "Okay." And that was the end of that. I mean, he took us. He won that ball game for us. He willed himself and us to that win.
Well, those guys had that mentality too. I remember basketball. We're pressing you. Some of it was full court man, some was half court trap, some was full court zone trap. And the other team called the timeout, and I looked at the kids. I said, "Look, they're over there going over how to beat the press. We want to go out. We just won't run it for a few possessions. They'll forget what the coach went over, and then we'll throw it back on them." Carshawn was one of those kids that looked at me and said, "Coach, I don't care what they go over during that huddle. They're not going to get through this press." I said, "There you have it, boys. Keep running it." And
keep doing what you're doing.
I'm like, when they got that mentality,
Yeah.
it makes,
That's the killer
it makes
instinct,
coaching
buddy.
easy. You just sit back and watch the kids play.
And you talk about Carshawn, the first touchdown, I'm pretty sure it was the first touchdown in the 2003 state championship game. This is it here, if you can see it.
Horsepower.
He breaks inside the tackle. We had been just kind of, running the ball, All of a sudden, there was that seam, and that was Stallion football. That's what you needed. You kept doing things to when that hole was there and it was perfect, and he was gone and scored that first touchdown. I remember going through the end zone, doing the airplane. Remember that? Just like it was yesterday.
Tough kid.
What's some other memories you guys have about that game?
Which game?
The 2003 against Burlington Cummings state championship game.
Well, we had practiced all week because you could see on film that they would line up and they looked like they're getting ready to take the snap, and then the quarterback would step back and they would look at the sidelines. They were looking at the defense, and the coaches would signal in the play. So we decided that we would do the same thing. We would line up and let them look at but we were going to be in something that was completely out. So what we taught our players was, look, just line up somewhere different than where you play on what we call, and then once they snap the football, we're in a different defense.
Go right back to
So, at the beginning of the game, I mean, it's my first state championship. I mean, we win, we're undefeated. I hadn't sniffed undefeated as a coach, and I mean, I'm excited. The atmosphere and the adrenaline's flowing, and Brad Taka, who was one of my linebackers, probably 5'5" and 130 pounds, was one of the best linebackers I've ever coached. He was lining up at corner, and he was lining up at safety. I'm like, "Brad, what are you doing?" And I'm yelling out on the field, and then so when they're 3 and out, they punt, and he comes over to the sideline, and he puts his arm, up around mine, and he says, "Coach, remember, we're stemming. We're trying not to show them what. That's why I was
eluding them."
And so, that's,
Oh yeah, thanks, Brad.
and I realized, man, I need to get in this ball game because I forgot what we're doing.
We'd be remiss, and we mentioned Carshawn, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention TQ Hardison too in that
TQ.
game. 155 yards and a pair of touchdowns in that game. and 2 long touchdowns.
Well, the 70-yarder was right up the middle.
Gone, and nobody could catch it.
Yeah, we had him at fullback, and he did not look like a fullback.
There were several. Gid Johnson said to me Friday afternoon when I went to get tickets for a Jacksonville White Oak ball game, and he hollered down the corridor there, and you know how that corridor was, it echoed. And when Gid said, "Bill," I froze, and I said, "What do you need, Coach?" And he said, "You're getting ready to take all of our running backs when Southwest opens in next year." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Well, think about it. You're going to get them from Georgetown. You're going to get them from Hindstown. You're going to get them from Rhodestown.
Greytown.
You've got, and Greytown." He said, he said, "You're going to take all our running backs. We've got to come up with a different program over here at Jacksonville. You're going to have a running team." Yeah. Love Gid Johnson. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's the truth.
Well, looking at some of the stats from that game, the Stallions, we talked about it all, as we were getting ready to get started here, but still in the record books in that game for 2 things. One has now been eclipsed. It was a 69-yard punt by, I think it was Jason Sunday. I think 74 is the record now for a state championship game. It's the state championship records. The other one I'm so proud of because we're Coach Padgett's one of 6 coaches to win a state championship with 0 passing yards. Tried one pass, it was incomplete, and he said, "Nope, we're done for the game." Carshawn, TQ, 0 passing yards, and yet they took down the most prolific team in the state offensive-wise that year. That quarterback, Bo Williams, had never lost a game in high school. And they had the Tate brothers, and that's how you beat them. You grind them, and you make them stay on the sidelines.
Was that past the first play of the game?
No, it was early on, though. It was Adric Hudson. I think it was a little loop route towards Kendrick, and he overthrew Kendrick a little bit. And so Phil said, "Well, that didn't work. Let's do something different." Of course, Coach, you can tell us. What was the things he always said about 3 things that can happen on a pass play?
Well, one is a completion. The other 2 is an incompletion and an interception.
Yep.
So
2
were bad.
He was saying there's 3 things that can happen, and 2 of them are bad. So let's go with the odds.
That's right.
All right. Anything else y'all want to add about that season before we move on to the next one?
I got to tell the story of my first, when I first came to Southwest and the first day in the weight room. And I said, "Coach," I said, "what you want me to do?" And he said, "I want you to coach quarterbacks. I want you to coach linebackers on defense. But I want you to coach quarterbacks when we're on offense." And he said, at practice, he said, I'll be talking to the quarterbacks, but you coach them up." I said, "Well, Coach, I need your passing tree, which it's on one piece of paper, and it's you draw a straight line, and then all the patterns that come off of that." And he said, I'll be right back. And he went to his office, and he came back with a note card, one of those big note cards. And I figured that, the passing tree, he went and drew it up. And he came back and he handed it to me. He said, "This is our passing tree." And it was, he drew up the toss sweep. And he told the truth.
That's as far as we're flinging the ball, and it's backwards.
Yeah.
In order to get passes for him, we knew we had to have those toss sweeps. Those are our passes.
But I got to add, we practiced on throwing the football. And, we did passing leagues in the summertime. And, in one passing league game, we threw the ball more than we would in a whole season.
Yeah.
But we were always ready, and we had, when Jake Hedershot was our quarterback, he had an arm, but we didn't throw it that much. And Jake was one of those quarterbacks that he, as a backup the year before, he really listened about, doing your fakes, and listen, a lot of times he would walk in the end zone when it looked like the ball was going the other way. We used him close to the goal line. And but he had an arm on him. And when Richlands came that year, and we were playing at home, they put 9 people up on the line of scrimmage, and they were stuffing us in the run early. And by the time that game was over, Jake had thrown for 300 yards. So we had a passing game, but we weren't going to use it unless we had to. It wasn't that Phil Padgett didn't know anything about passing. It wasn't that, he didn't want to throw the football, because he did. I mean, Phil was a receiver in high school. But we're going to hit you in the mouth running the football.
3 yards.
And you got to stop us. And if you do, we're going to pull up and we're going to be able to throw the football.
I've heard him say many a time to many a runner, you give me 3 yards every time and you're going to be on the field Friday night.
Yeah.
Give me 3 yards every time you touch that ball.
He was going to find your weakness, and we were going to exploit it. We were going to find a defensive lineman that wasn't very good, and that's who we were going to run at. And he just, I tell you, he was a game time, in the game, know when to run a reverse, those kind of things that, Phil just had that kind of instinct too. And that's what made him as great as he was.
And you talk about being able to throw the ball. The game against Wallace Rose Hill, of course, in '99, to come back, had to throw the ball. Some did it then. Yeah. The game against Western Alamance, the second one, the cold game one, had to throw the ball and did it when you needed to. Obviously, Nick Brahowski doesn't make the catch without the ball being thrown. When it was necessary, he could do it.
The story that I heard on the catch there, was that they were making that last-minute decision on what to do, and Phil was wanting to do something, and Bob Easton said, no, we're going for it, and we're going to get it. And, I mean, it was 4th and long also. It wasn't like it was going to be 4th and inches or something. And I had no idea where I was. Of course, I was probably out in left field most of the time. But anyhow, I look down and I'm seeing Brahowski and the defender coming from across the field to try to get to him, and a perfect catch down there in the end zone for what we all know as the catch. And the one thing about that game there, and I loved him to death, Mark Riggs was with Daily News at that time and was doing the sports for there. He was in the box with us and up that way. And when that catch hit, he caught that catch and the game was over from there. Riggs went down there and he was livid. He could not believe that had happened, and it did, because I guess everybody in the stands thought something was going to happen from a running stand, and Easton said, no, we're not. We're going to do this.
And you talk about the perfect pass. Was Barnett the quarterback then? Al Barnett?
I think, was it Al? No, I don't.
What year was that?
The year Nick
96.
made the catch.
96. No, I don't know. Al was
no,
much
he was
earlier.
before then.
Yeah.
I can't remember who the quarterback was then.
I wish I could. I'd go back and pull out the papers.
What year you say it was?
96.
96.
I can tell you that.
I wasn't there, but
Right.
Donnie Smith was in there somewhere, but I think
Donnie was in that. It might have been Donnie. You're right. It might have been.
I'm not sure. I can go back and pull out the papers, but I
didn't bring all your papers.
No, I didn't have enough. I didn't have enough room in the Yukon to
Well, now
bring
you
back
got a
all
lot
the
of
papers.
notes here. Anything that we want to cover before we go?
Well, yes, when we finish, but you got.
Oh, good. No, fire away.
Okay, but I was ready to get to that 2004 game for a minute.
Well, let's do that. I'll lead into it, and then you can take it from there. 2004, coming off a state championship, moved Kendrick Burney to quarterback. More of a running quarterback, obviously, but man, the dynamic that he brought, being able to have that running option. When you think about it, every year Southwest won the state championship, you had a quarterback that had that running option. Yep. Shaq Pershey, Kendrick Burney, Adric Hudson, and Kendrick Brooks. So go through the playoffs, get to the Final Four, and it's all East Central.
It's all East Central.
Beat East Duplin first.
Yeah.
And then East Carteret in the Eastern Finals. And then you want to talk about the 2004 game some?
I'm going to talk about
the whole season.
For the season.
All right.
As we started practice for that first official practice for there, I go out to the Onslow County garage because I was still at the Sheriff's Department and I was over the cars and everything. And Pete Smith, loved him to death, from Richlands. He walks up to me and he says, all right, give me your prediction for how your team's going to do this year after winning the 2003. And some of the other mechanics were there. And I said, guys, get a little closer here so you can hear this. And I put my hand up on Pete's shoulder like that. And I said, Pete, barring major injuries, we're going to go back to the state championship. Now, I can't guarantee the win, but I can guarantee you we're going back to the state championship. So that's set up for there. And
well, it's ironic you should say that because this man will attest to what I said. Our kids were about 10 years old then, roughly. We're planning Bibles or some kind of retreat, around December or so, Christmas program and everything. I said, no, that's state championship Saturday. And they looked at me like I was nuts. Said, no, they won theirs. It's not going to happen again this year. Remember, we rescheduled.
Oh, yeah.
And sure enough, we went to the state championship.
Yeah.
Because, you can see that year, like you said, being good.
Oh.
Tell us more about that team or coach.
Well, I can just tell you, as coaches, we don't appreciate you guys saying and doing.
Well,
I
we
know
didn't say
that.
it to y'all.
But the expectation
I know
we
it.
have to look at.
That's just what the expectation
For
was.
a while there, you left state championship Saturday open.
Yeah.
Because you just didn't know.
They just expected it to happen, and like I said, guys like Kendrick Burney, they made me a good coach because I'm coaching kids that number one are athletes, number two they're coachable. They want to hear what you got to say, and they worked hard. My first year as a coach at Southwest, I was still teaching at Dixon Middle School. And so every day I'm driving up Highway 17, changing clothes as I was driving. So when I got to practice, I'm ready. I didn't want to be late.
How'd you get them britches on?
But actually, I was the first. I was the first coach at practice. But when I would drive up, the players were already on the field and they were stretching as a team. And they did it right. They did everything right, and there was no coach was out there, and it was incredible to watch them. For example, when we hit the blocking sled, those guys were parallel in the air, hitting that sled. They get about 5 yards from that sled, and they're parallel to the ground, hitting the sled, and they're knocking it off up in the air. And by mid-season, we're having to change the nuts and bolts on that thing. That's just how hard they hit, and it was every player, and it was such an influence on every kid to do their best and be their best. Because if you didn't, we didn't have to worry about those things. The kids would take care of it.
That's them.
Well, they get to the state championship game against Shelby, powerhouse Shelby, one of the title towns, them in Reedsville.
Absolutely.
And I had a buddy of mine that I talked to some, and he was one of the big wigs at Shelby in their booster club and former coach and everything. He said when our boys walked out of that tunnel at Duke, single file and all black, he said they were done. He said he could see a difference, just the intimidation and the way our team looked. Because the way they carried themselves, they were so, like you said, very professional. They weren't waving to nobody. They were all business.
Absolutely. And the thing that I remember from high in the sky on the other side was that when they came out, Shelby was already on the field, and they were going through some warm-ups on the field there. And the coaches, I was watching a couple of the assistant coaches, and as they came out and walked, and then they did and started going down the lines to set up for there, the coaches, the assistant coaches, got to watching what was happening down there. And I got to watching, and the kids, all of Shelby's players, they just completely stopped warm-ups and turned around and was watching what the first set of warm-ups that y'all had them doing down there. And I looked at Melvin and said, this game's over.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, when I walked out on the field and when I looked at Shelby, I was thinking of different.
You did.
I'm telling you, good gracious.
They were so big and everything else, but speed kills. Remember that? Remember that headline?
I was telling you guys earlier.
On our first.
Can't teach speed.
All right.
And that's it.
Well, you either got it or you chase it. That's what Bobby Bowden said. But listen, man, I'm telling you, our guys got a hold of the film early in the week, and they're like, Coach, we got this. I'm like, oh, no, we don't talk about, and but they were serious. I mean, they got together. I don't know where they were, but I think it was Kendrick Dakota and T.A., Tyrone Arrington, and there might have been a few more, but like 4 or 5 of them together were watching the film, and they're like, we got this. We're going to win this.
And that's so much different than nowadays. That's what the kids wanted to do. They were 100% invested in football.
Yes.
That's what they wanted.
And all those guys you just mentioned, all of them, Kendrick goes to Carolina. T.A.'s at, he's up in the Mount Brevard. And Dakota's at East Carolina.
Yeah. Star at East Carolina.
Yeah.
So the game gets going along. Kendrick with that long run, 67 yards, the cutback run, the famous, the copyright run that he would do where he'd go one side and then cut back the other way.
Yeah.
Go up 21-0. Shelby finally scores A defender come up on a go route and thought it was the under route. They scored to make it 21-7. What happens?
Everything up? No, you go with all of that because my time on
Okay,
those things,
what it was, TQ Hardison, the star of the year before,
makes the
another record that's in the books that's not going to be beaten because it's 99 yards. You can't return a kick more than 99 yards because it'd be a touchback. Cuts it at the 1, cuts through, just leaves the defenders at the end.
That was
28-7.
the first play of the second half.
Right.
It might have been, but it was right
over.
after that score though, the 21 score, because it was a kickoff after that.
The word that I got from you're talking about starting the second half, when they went into the locker rooms, the Stallions. They said it was paper thin wall, and you could hear the team on the other side there, and the coaches was going ballistic with their players over there, just because
of what was transpiring.
When Melvin and I finally got up to the press box, and let me tell you, when you go to to a state championship game, all the media that's there, and here's this little AM station that's coming in there, you don't get any respect at all. You can rest assured of that. And we walked into that press box, and everybody in there laughed because now I've got this football shirt on, not the radio station day. But we walked in and they said, "You mean you made the trip up here to get this slaughter today?" And I said, like that with a thumbs up. When the game was over with, there was not a single soul out there where we were at. All the press had left. And I thought, Melvin, where did everybody go? And he said, I think that thumbs up you gave him to me, and you really didn't mean to give the thumbs up, but that's what you gave him.
What was the halftime score?
28-7. Just looked it up. It was before halftime. It was the ensuing kickoff from that touchdown, and then they went to the half, and the final score ended up being 49-21.
Right,
28-point.
That was at Duke, wasn't it?
At Duke. At Duke, yeah.
The final facility did not used to exist.
Well,
now they've upgraded it now.
But
back then it was terrible.
I just remember at halftime, Tommy Barnes and I talking about how we're going to stop the Buck Sweep. And we did. And it was the kid, it wasn't the X and O thing. It was the kids that finally stepped up. But I'm just telling you, that group of guys set the tone for years to come, which was the expectation.
Yeah.
And even when Coach Easton went to the North Side, his first couple of years, when we played them, because he knew he would not let his team be on the field when our guys walked out of that, walked out of the gym going to the field, walking in that line, and our guys, they didn't talk. There was no playing around. And
it was game time.
It was game time, and those guys.
Choreographed music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, this is the truth. It's the truth, Tim. People weren't doing what we were doing at Southwest, and they copied. And now you hear it at other stadiums.
Now you hear it at college stadiums that you didn't used to hear.
Yeah, but they're playing the songs that you play, and there was nothing like it. I remember when I first got to Southwest. The Booster Club and Mike Smith and Miss Anita and just the Tim doing the announcing, the whole deal, the whole atmosphere, it was like, and I came from Dixon now. I mean, I've coached at Jacksonville, but I hadn't been at a high school where it was almost like small college. And I tell you, I've been to small colleges, and I'm like, wow, we had something bigger and better than that at Southwest.
I can't remember though. There was a book that was written about football in North Carolina, and one of the sections talked about coming into Stallion Stadium, the corral there, Stadium, and those flags that were flying, the music that was playing, the crowd already in the stands, and the team hadn't even walked out onto the field yet.
That's
and then
right.
When they come out, it was like a wave. When they come out and the In the Air Tonight started playing, the crowd stands up, and the kids never move. They're focused on where they're going. They walk down that sideline, and at the 50-yard line, I think you guys recognized it, at the 50-yard line, that music was choreographed to where it cut from the drum hits on In the Air Tonight to the guitar riff to start Welcome to the Jungle. And they hit that 50-yard line, Welcome to the Jungle started, and that's where they started running down.
It went up tempo quickly.
Well, let me tell you, there's one other high school that now, when you walk in that stadium, it reminds you of the run that we had at Southwest, and we're playing them tonight, and that's East Dublin.
Yes, sir.
That atmosphere. I remember 2 years ago when Andrew was at Kinston coaching, and went to the game, and I got there early, and I walked in that stadium. I said, "Wow, it's the same feeling, it's the same atmosphere." And you know what's getting ready to happen. It's going to be a ball game.
Well, and that is a great segue here. I do want to mention all the games tonight real quick and let Hollywood tell everybody. Let him get to his mic here so he talks about the Cardinal game tonight. The games tonight are Northside at Croatan. That's going to be a good one right there, buddy. Two different styles, but, man, that's going to be a great game. Southwest at East Duplin. Look forward to the Stallions getting that first win of the season tonight. It's going to be big. Jacksonville at New Bern. Tell us about the programming and stuff here on WSME tonight.
Yeah, the Cardinals traveled to New Bern to take on the Bears.
The
Bears. It's pregame at 6:30, 7 o'clock is kickoff for us. And we always enjoyed that because we get to sit in the stands. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Are you going to be on the New Bern side, or since you sit in the stands, are you going to go sit with the Cardinals?
I don't know. We got a nice little piece of equipment out of it.
Just run you an extension cord across midfield.
We got a nice little generator thingy, man. We can,
yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. It depends on the best view, but that should be a lot of fun tonight. So make sure you check us out 97.1, 11:20 a.m. for a little bit till the sun goes down, and of course around the globe at WSME971.com with the whole crew tonight right here on WSME. There you go.
There's a lot of good football going on in Onslow County. It's amazing the growth of football. Dixon's playing
on the
tonight
rise
against Swansboro. Dixon, I think, is 3 or 4-1. Swansboro is nipping. They're just real close to turning that corner. You know, Jacksonville is head and shoulders. They're headed down the New Bern, and Northside. The clash tonight's going to be Northside at Croatan. That's going to be a big ball game with those two teams for that conference. So it's going to be interesting. Richlands is off tonight.
You got White Oak at D.H. Conley.
White Oak's going to D.H. Conley. So Cardinals at New Bern.
Yep.
Cardinals and the Bears.
The other two left are Liberty at Community Christian. And then I'm going to put good money that Northside Pinetown will beat Lejeune 48-0 this week. I'm going to call it right now.
They played last night?
They played Tuesday night to beat the shutdown. Yeah, that one's done. So that one, that's your games for tonight. Talking about New Bern, too, that New Bern's one of those teams that won a state championship without a single passing yard. I don't even think they attempted a yard. It's since been stripped due to some academic issues, but still, that's impressive. Ground and pound smash mouth.
It should be an interesting game tonight.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be good up there.
How about the picks? You have those this week?
I do. I don't have everybody's picks, but I do have the rundown of the points. We do want to give that. Leading the show with a 3-0 week last week, Liberty's game got canceled, so we ended up just having 3 games. Harry Brown at 33-7 took the lead. Chris Farley, Jerry Allen, Bob Warlick, and Ben Beasley are second at 32-8. At 31-9, you got Ashley Mosley, Brian North, Steve Goodson, and Chris Miller. At 29-11, you have Michael Irvin, Joey Mahalchik. 28-12, you have Jason Humphrey. And bringing up the rear, myself and Dave Miller at 27-13. I'm a sucker for the Stallions, baby. I'm not going to pick against them.
Who's Chris Farley?
Did I say Chris Farley?
Yeah, SNL, man.
I was kind of
Saturday Night Live.
I thought it was Robert. I was like, and I think Chris.
Robert and Chris are cousins. You know the Chris Farley from Saturday Night Live.
He's no longer with us.
I know. But anyway,
he could be
Robert
picking.
I put the last name, so that's the name that jumped in my head. I'm
So
sorry.
if anything, he should have an inside.
Wouldn't you think?
So we're running about 2 hours worth here after we finally got started. Right. Is there anything y'all want to cover before we go?
The only thing that I didn't want to, everyone talks about Southwest Stallion Football, and because of the program that was built there, about all those coaches that was there, including this man to my right here and all. But baseball, Phil Padgett took the baseball team 2 years in a row to the state championship. Lost them both, but we went there long before we were going to be at a state championship in football.
And that was back when you played at the opposing school. So one of the trips was to the mountains.
To the mountains, yes. Track. Bob Eason Tommy Barnes, Bev Marley. And their motto, no track, no problem.
That
and
team
that
was so good he won a state championship. They didn't have a track.
That's it.
Yeah.
And won the state championship. That was the first state championship at Southwest High School as far as the teams going on from there. And then you've got to get Beverly back in again in 2012, going to NC State to play Bishop McGuinness for a state championship that the team started out with 9 players that year, ended up going to Raleigh with 6 players.
And playing a team that had 15 that were
a basketball factory.
just as good as the others and coming off like 5 straight championships.
Basketball factory.
Yeah, all look the same with that
The
ponytail.
pregame show, Melvin said before, as we were riding up to Raleigh, he said, listen, I'm not going to get on the pregame show. I've asked Rick Scoppy to come in. I call him Scoop all the time. Oh, Scoop. And he said, Rick and you are going to do all the pregame show. And I said, okay, that's fine with me if you don't want to be there. He said, no, I'm going to let you two have this one. So we get going, and Rick says to me, he said, what do you think about it, Billy? Tell me your true feelings. I said, my true feelings is bittersweet here today. And he said, looked at me funny, and he said, what do you mean that? I said, it's going to be bitter because we've got 6 players, and we're playing Bishop McGuinness that's done won a ton of them. I said, the sweetness is the key player for them has already committed to go and play for Sylvia Hatchell at Carolina, so I get to watch her this afternoon to see what's going on. And so you look at all those, but we had basketball teams, the women's basketball teams that we had a lot of success with that a lot of people don't talk about. When you look
before
at
you leave that game real quick, you remember the layup line? Bishop McGuinness with 15 to 20 players, all with the same ponytail, doing the right-handed layups, did not miss a single one twice through. Then they went and did the left-handed layup line. Did not miss a single. I knew right then.
Left-handed.
Yeah, left-handed.
Yeah.
It was trouble.
But everybody knew that. Like, when we walked out of
Basketball
Fayetteville,
factory.
and when we walked out of the Coliseum at Fayetteville that night, it was ecstatic that we were getting ready to go to the state championship. Everybody there said, "You're going up to get beat." Hey, we're going to a state championship. That's how many other teams are going to be there doing that?
At Reynolds Coliseum.
Coliseum.
All right, what's the others you got there?
I just wanted to mention the basketball, the women in basketball that we've had there that you look at. You know, Michelle Spicer, Andre Bordeaux, Ginger Rothma. Remember Ginger?
Tracy Taylor set the state record
Tracy,
at one time.
Tracy was right. I was going to have Chris Parker,
did
Kim
she
Miller.
set that for points or was it for 3-pointers?
Points. She had 60,
at one time
I think
she had state
64
record for
points.
most points and just about this tall.
Yeah, Kim
That's
Miller.
right.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about
Tracy, yeah. And but Kim Miller there, Patricia Monk, Christina Hansley. Not only was she an athlete, she was a super student and unreal.
Kim Floyd and Kelly Taylor.
Becky Janning, a lot of great players.
Chrissy Riggs, Erin Easley, Julie Pierce, Vicki Harper.
Yes.
Remember Vicki?
Yes.
Yeah, Melissa Barwick.
I had to,
Monica Bradshaw.
I had to go be the assistant coach for Coach Marley the senior year of Chrissy and Julie and Vicky and all those girls because, you know, Coach Marley was pregnant with Taylor at that time.
Yeah.
I believe it was Taylor, maybe Zach, but it was Taylor. But definitely Taylor. Because she was ready to have a baby at any time, so I was there.
Yeah.
A standby.
But we've had a fair success in all the sports all the way around. Soccer has come on 3 there. Women's have won a title also there.
They got 2 and the boys got 1.
Yeah,
Within what was it about?
2004.
15 months of each other, the 3 state championships.
We won the girls soccer state title in the spring, football and boys soccer in the fall. So in the same calendar
And then
year,
girls
3
won
times.
it the next year, though, right? Or a year after, maybe. Because they won 2 state championships.
Yeah, they won
girls.
2.
I think there was a year between,
Yeah, but that was it. I mean, in 2004, that school year was just unbelievable. I think we won every conference championship.
We had 16 or 18 JV and varsity conference championships that season.
Yeah, and everything that they played that year, and we just wiped out everybody for the Wachovia Cup. I mean,
that was 2012 too, and the boosters always buy the conference championship T-shirts. We just did one with
shirt.
all the sports on it.
Yep.
I think we're getting towards the end, aren't we, Hollywood?
This is officially the longest sports talk show in the history of the program.
That's because Chris Raynor and Tim Foster.
That's Frank Sinatra.
Hey, it's a good thing Chris didn't speak.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that in a
Glad
bad
I
way.
was muted a little bit.
Nothing wrong with that.
Guys, we really appreciate
great
you
show,
coming on.
great show.
And there's enough material here to do a whole nother one. I definitely want to get you guys back sometime and tell some of the stories, like from that, the helicopter deal and all that. We'll do that another time.
In radio broadcasting, we used to say we used to have these shows called evergreen shows that we used to call them, and they're the shows you could. There's a lot of stuff in this show that's not really, except for the stuff we talked about in football coming up. It's not time sensitive, so we could replay this. Holidays, stuff like that, we could replay.
We do it again and just not mention anything current. Just talk about the history of Onslow County football. Maybe we can get Coach Durham and talk about the Jacksonville teams and us, and just have one of those type shows.
Onslow County stuff.
Yeah, we could do that.
That'd be really good to do that. I mean, you got Jonathan Bird at White Oak that played for White Oak.
And
you
got them rolling.
Kendrick at Northside that played at Jacksonville. Bo, who's head coach at Jacksonville, whose dad coached
at
Jacksonville,
Jacksonville.
Coach
Right.
Chip Williams, is just the history of all the people that are currently coaching in Onslow County. Their
you can pair
connections
them
to
up,
it.
kinda,
Bring them all in and do different shows with them.
And make it about a 4-hour show, and then we could make it into segments for
Yes,
everything.
yes.
Kendrick Pollock had a great quarterback coach at Jacksonville.
I remember his name. His name was David
Maybe
McCloud.
what he was
Yes,
today.
yes.
Did you have something you want to add before we go?
I probably did, but at my age, it's gone.
Right.
No.
Well, I'm going to hit our sponsors before we go, and then we got another show coming. We're going to do it again one day. All right. Thank you again for tuning in to Sports Talk. Our sponsors are National Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, Modern Exterminating, the Lofts of John Drew Warlick, Bayshore Animal Hospital in Swansboro, CNS Paint, Ron Choate, Victor Case, Golden Corral and Billy Sewell, Bradley's Jewelers, Rock Creek Golf and Country Club, Jones Onslow EMC, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative, Downey's Heating and Air Conditioning, Hampton Halley Chiropractic, Jones LP Gas in Verona. Today's $11 cylinder refill day on Fridays.
Super special.
Yeah, that's right.
Great deal.
Southern Touch Painting, Roger Carroll and his crew, Fountain Management and Sandra Fountain, Onslow County Motor Company, of course, Ben Beasley, Barnes Diamond Gallery, Layton Associates Family Dentistry, Doctors Tommy and Kim Morgan, Bartley Insurance Services, Bill Mercer, and Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning. Thanks again, once again, to Onslow County Motor Company and Ben Beasley for sponsoring the Racing Report, and to Helen's Kitchen and Billy Grissett for keeping us fed. We're getting ready to eat finally.
Yeah.
And I also want to thank Express Printing coming on as our new Sports Talk sponsor.
That's right.
They've done a ton of stuff for us over the years, and here they are.
Yeah, Myron Cross and the crew are down there. You're one-stop print shop. So there you go.
Well, that's a wrap. We've talked long enough. I've talked long enough. I'm sorry. And I'm done.
You didn't talk.
Not at all.
You said you were going to just sit back and let us take it over.
Well, okay. I'm sorry. I can't. It's like, how do you stop the ocean from rolling in at the beach? You know what I mean? That's the Elvis song. All right, we'll see you next week on Sports Talk. What's the Elvis song?
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Sky Rizzy. Risen Kism.